6 o'clock, good Monday morning, live from the Circus Sports, the Mid-Kentucky Downs studio. I'm Justin Hawkins. Tennessee Lady Vols softball, after an Emma Clark walk-off home run in the ninth inning, moved on to the Women's College World Series Championship semifinal after beating Texas Tech on Saturday. The Lady Vols will now have a rematch with Texas at 11 a.m. this morning on ESPN, and a second game, if necessary, at 1:30 due to double elimination. On the men's side, Tennessee baseball was eliminated from postseason contention after losing 7-3 to ECU on Friday, and then following it up with a 5-4 loss to VCU on Saturday. The NBA Finals are set. The San Antonio Spurs upset the Oklahoma City Thunder at home Saturday night to win Game 7, 111-103, and dethrone the defending champions. The Spurs, who were in the finals for the first time since 2014, will now host the New York Knicks for Game 1 of the NBA Finals starting this Wednesday. And the Stanley Cup Finals are also set after the Hurricanes dominated the Canadiens in Game 5 Friday night 6-1 to win the Eastern Conference Finals 4-1. The Stanley Cup Final will begin this Tuesday night with Game 1 in Raleigh. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Monday morning, brand new week and brand new month begins on 104.5 The Zone. Good morning and welcome in to Ramon and Will. 615-737-1045 is the number. With 11-year NFL veteran and Titans radio analyst Ramon Foster, Justin Hawkins making the show happen, myself, Will Bowling, Monday, June the 1st. With a Titans OTA practice to react to, a busy weekend of baseball, softball, basketball, and much, much more. You stream us live at 104.5 The Zone TV, Facebook Live, YouTube, Twitter, or Twitch from the sauna that is the 104.5 The Zone studios, live from the 104.5 The Zone Circus Sports studio. Kentucky's largest sports book can now be found at Circus Sports at Kentucky Downs. Good morning. How are we?
We're good, man. I actually think this is as pleasant as it's been as of late.
Ooh.
It's comfortable in the studio for once. And you like it, Cole. You've always said that. You've always stated that. And I like it in the studio, at least, when I ain't got a jacket or a blanket at home, to be somewhat chill. At my house, Will, we sit at about 69 degrees, man.
Same.
Keisha be like, what are you doing here? You trying? Yes, I am in the house. But in the studio, it's probably because I'm right over this vent. Like, it blows absolutely ice cold in here. And today is one of those days where I'm like, yeah, this is kind of cool in here. No pun intended.
It feels like a sauna.
It does to you, but
I'm sweating.
I thoroughly enjoy it. You sweating?
I am too.
already?
Yeah, usually it's freezing back here.
Awesome.
I had a hoodie on. I just took that off because literally I'm sweating.
Dang. Yeah, I like it in here like this, man. Who actually controls the thermostat? Is it centrally located somewhere? Because we got to figure it out. There's one in the studio, but I don't think it works for us.
Well, I mean, you know it's not going to work for us, but by the time Buck Rising gets here, it'll be perfectly functional. It's going to feel like the foothills of the Himalayas.
No doubt about it, man.
It's going to be perfectly brisk by the time everyone else gets in here. Maybe tomorrow it'll be better for us.
Maybe tomorrow it'll be good. By the time the golf tournament comes around, it'll be perfectly fine in here.
Which is 2 weeks from today.
2 weeks from today as well. We're in the month. Hey, everybody's our guys on the clock. T-minus 12 days, and I'm so excited for you, Will. I told you on the before
I'm getting
we
married,
came on,
for those who don't know.
Yeah, yes. I'm going to get a suit made, not for you, but because I need a black suit.
It can be for me. It's okay.
It can be.
I appreciate it.
I call it the Will suit, but I do need a black suit.
Not a good Will suit. It's a good Will suit.
Although all of my old
better
suits
Will
are
suit.
at
Better
the
Will
good Will, though. If you got a suit in Middle Tennessee that's my size, just send me a picture of it, too, because my name on the inside of them.
Oh, okay.
Had a lot of custom suits made, and they were outdated. It's too big. Baggy design, which baggy is coming back in style again. I refuse to go back to that old world, but I sent a lot of stuff to the Goodwill. What was it, 2 months ago, actually. A ton of custom suits, but it is what it is. I don't really wear them like that anymore since COVID happened. Ron Slade's constantly wearing suits. That's who's constantly wearing suits.
Television Zone.
Television Zone, man. All in all, good weekend. Great basketball this weekend. I saw somebody tweet out yesterday. It was like, the College World Series is equivalent to March Madness, ? It was some
the whole
exciting.
NCAA tournament, yeah.
It was some exciting games on. UCLA, both men and women's, dropped the ball this weekend.
Men much more than women because the men did not even make it out of their own regional. Second straight year. Number one overall seed didn't make it out of their regional because last year it was Vandy.
All that bragging I did on what the West Coast was doing, and now they dropped the ball. Now I will say, whoever that team was that they beat them,
St. Mary's.
St. Mary's is a West Coast team as well.
Yeah,
and
I mean it's a regional sport in this level. So typically,
okay,
you do have, and not as much this year because it's ranked 1 through 32, like we talked about with Chris Lee, or it was Chris Burke. One of those two Chris's who talked about it, but it's still done fairly regionally.
That's tough. That's real tough. And I hate it more for the ladies, though, because they have a real good team that hit bombs all year long.
Well, they actually made the World Series.
And no doubt about it. And Texas Tech, man, closed out in an amazing fashion, too. But none better than the Lady Vols this weekend, though. Oh, my gosh. The Lady Vols softball team, a walk-off home run. Karen Weekly had a little drama with her that was unassociated with her in general. But congratulations to the Lady Vols softball team. An electric, and I mean electric finish to that game the other day.
In the semifinals, playing Texas today.
Good stuff.
We'll talk about it as we go.
Big Tex is what we'll call
Trying
them.
to beat them again.
Forward.
Just going to win 1 out of potentially 2. But we'll see.
Did anybody even think about Karen Weekly being on the wrong side of that little rumor mill? This weekend?
It's a long story.
Did.
We'll have to give proper context to.
Yeah.
But anybody who thought that Karen Weekly was going to be not classy in any way, telling a player you made a mistake who transferred, when there are cameras on. Yeah.
And Holly Rowe, by the way, shout out to her for getting the information. Either way, man, congratulations again to the Lady Vols this weekend. Big softball weekend.
I drowned my sorrows Saturday. Arsenal lost the Champions League final in penalty kicks. I quickly, about an hour later, remembered that we won the championship in England and was not super hurt, but tough day for your boy.
It was
tough Saturday. Very tough Saturday.
Does it sting less on penalty kicks?
Not more. A lot more. Oh yeah. Yeah. No. A lot more. But we move.
Okay.
We move.
Okay. I figured like you can
It
almost.
is a soccer summer. The U.S. won yesterday 3-2 over Senegal. We move. We're on to the next.
Okay. All right.
As my fiance and soon-to-be wife says, there's always a sport.
There's always.
So we just move on to the next one.
Look at her conditioning her mind to sports in general, man. Like trying to walk you into a better therapy session is what it sounds
It's
like.
not
she's
that.
doing.
It's more amazement that I am able to move on to something different so quickly because there are so many rooting interests that I have. It's less about trying to make me feel better, more about, there's another one. It's more acceptance on her part.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. Well, I'm here for it. I'll tell you what, my wife and I both are crazy about sports. So if you got your wife that understands you on days in which you feel like the world is going to fall, then you got the perfect spouse then. That's what I would tell you.
No question about it.
Golly.
No question about it.
So emotional.
Well, the Titans practiced on Friday, and we were there to see it. We'll hear a lot from Robert Saleh this morning, a little bit from Titans defensive line coach Aaron Whitecotton as well, who spoke, as did all the position coaches. So we'll do that as the week goes and spend a little bit of time each day on a different topic and a different coach's comments. But Ramon, this was my first time seeing Carnell Tate practice in person, and I get it.
I'm smiling now.
I get it.
I'm smiling now.
It is really hard to not get really excited about Carnell Tate the second you watch a practice at the Vanderbilt Health Football Center right now. Highlights, again, from this practice where you've probably seen the Titans put out video on Twitter of another deep ball catch that he had over the top of the defense, a one-handed catch that he had as well. Ramon, I don't know how anyone could have thought that this was a major reach. You watch him, and he looks like a bona fide number one wide receiver. And I know that they will probably want to tamp down the expectations a little bit, but I think for good reason. We've got wide receiver one expectations. Just watching the way the guy glides effortlessly into the secondary and goes up and plucks the ball out of the air. That's the best way I can describe it. He plucks the ball out of the air like oxygen offended him by not letting him have the football in his hands yet. It is something to watch. I'm not going to promise 1,200 yards. I'm not going to promise that it's going to look amazing right away.
Yeah.
There's still a lot we've got to see. This offensive line still got to protect Cam long enough to get the ball to him. However, I could not have imagined being more impressed than I was on Friday watching Cardell Tate practice for the first time.
I want to let that breathe so long. I almost feel like we can go to commercial break because you set it up. You set it up so perfect. And here's the thing about it. I heard you say this. I've read articles from people who've been at practice or in the national media that somewhat alluded to this. Jimmy Wyatt, of course, has talked about this on his observations on TennesseeTitans.com. The traction is moving in his direction now. Carnell Tate. Favor is moving in his direction now. I think when you view what this team needs, okay, they needed a number one wide receiver. They needed a young playmaker. But here's the other part, though, too. You see him, and it's the point that you made. With no disrespect to anybody else, he runs like a gazelle when you see him out there. And not just that, you realize, okay, he looks a little bit different than the wide receivers you've seen in years past. You don't have to have conversations about what you think Carnell Tate can be. You already seeing it each and every play that he's out there. The competitiveness that he has, the catchability, like you said, and the one thing that everybody that I've talked to that have seen Carnell Tate in person have said, well, it's been consistent. And I don't want to hype this up. I'm with you because I genuinely do not want to hype this up. But when you see him catch the football, he legitimately plucks it out of the air. Like when you see white gloves go up or big hands go up, it's usually him. And he's bringing the football down. And not only that, but he's got great balance. He's got run after. And then you see him also fighting for the ball. The coolest part about him for me is he always finds himself open. Or enough space to where he can get the ball. He
makes himself open.
He makes himself open. The other part, though, too, and Jimmy Wyatt alludes to in his write-ups as well, Cam is very friendly with him. Like, he's establishing a relationship with him. And here's the thing, they got a lot of time, that they got a lot of reps that they have to catch up on as well. But Cam is very friendly to know where Carnell Tate is at, though, too. But the number 4 overall selection, as far as 7-on-7 goes, it looks like it.
Mm-hmm.
That is,
it definitely does.
It looks like it. Speed down the field. Did you worry about the speed at all? The 4.5?
No, I mean, he doesn't look like a 4.5 wide receiver. But to be fair, that was never a major concern for me anyway. He never at Ohio State looked like a 4.5 receiver.
Can we look at the difference between a 4.4 and a 4.5? Like, it might just be a snap of a finger by the time you cross the line.
So what this means for now is, I just think, essentially what we said. He looks the part. He has an automatic foundation with the quarterback. And that's that. I don't think it means that he's going to be rookie of the year. I don't think it necessarily means that he's going to lead this team in receiving yards, although I kind of believed that before I watched him practice. To be overall fair, I still think Wan'Dale Robinson has more catches. I think he has more yards and more total production in that regard. But this time last year, we were talking about how Cam Ward has an uncanny amount of NFL timing and how he plays on schedule and plays quickly. Ramon, we were not saying that in the season.
No.
Once pads came on, once he could get hit, once defense turned it up a little bit, starters were always out there against him. Okay, yeah. Then Cam Ward didn't show the same timing he showed us in OTAs. So take it with a grain of salt.
For sure.
It's OTAs. It's soon to be minicamp. But it is a really good first step for a receiver that I think is going to have a great career as a Tennessee Titan. It's okay to get excited.
It is.
It is very okay to get excited, while also understanding that there's a lot of work left to be done.
I'd be okay with you saying I'm going to go buy a jersey right now. I think he has that type of staying power, especially if Cam takes his step, though, too. But like what you're seeing, like you said, is that tandem of those two guys working together. You see what the future is, too. And here's the other part that's super unique about it. Brian Dable is feeding that offense gunpowder as well. They're trying to make sure that they give it to their weapons, man. And the more and more I've seen this offense, the more I feel like, this is, in my personal opinion, the balance that you're looking for is what Callahan, I think, was projected to do. Brian Callahan, that is. Like, change this offense into a threat. Right now, watching Dable, like call plays, the way the offense is competing against the defense, the weapons that they have, and the plays that they've made so far too. Yeah, it should be a lot of balance to what they're attempting to do.
He is the story so far.
He is.
No question.
No, it ain't even close.
No.
Cedric Gray, I'm sure we have his audio as well too. He gave a huge vote of confidence for a guy that hadn't seen anything like this on this level just yet. Though,
we do not have that today, but we can find it.
Yeah, can we find that, Hawk? It's out there. It's a quick comment, and I think we can just build off of what he said, man.
Okay.
It is when you start getting it from your teammates the way that he did, the way he delivered it for us to hear, yeah, super significant.
615-737-1045 is our number. Streaming live on 1045 The Zone TV, Facebook Live, YouTube, Twitter, or Twitch. A Titans player caught the eye of reporters who seems to always catch the eye of reporters this time of year on Friday over at the Vanderbilt Health Football Center, and we'll talk about that coming up next. Monday morning on Ramon and Will, 615-737-1045. Ramon Foster and Will Bowling at Ramon and Will, where you get us on Twitter. So Tajay Spears is a great practice player. I think you could argue when he's healthy, he is a good football player. Overall, has battled injuries over the last 2 seasons. And once again, Ramon, I leave the facility impressed by what he shows us on the practice field. Without the contact, without the mileage of the legs, with the management of everything at this point of the offseason, what does it mean for Tajay Spears heading into another full summer and the final couple weeks of this phase of the offseason program that we are once again impressed, headed into a very big season for a running back on the end of his rookie contract?
Man, this shows it shows his athleticism and professionalism. Let's just start there first for a guy like Tajay Spears. He's dealt with his injuries. He's dealt with, I'm sure, with the public pressure as well, and he continually shows up. One, that's his job, but at the same time, the mental warfare that you go into to stay ready and to show this new staff now that, hey, I'm capable of getting these reps, and also what we've seen in the last few times on the practice field, you see what he can turn into. He's just got to give this in the fall until week 1. Week 1 through week 18 is what he needs to. But as far as this time of the year for a guy like him who's a dynamic skill player, skill playmaker that he can be, and nobody's seen that in a big volume over the course of the year, Brian Daboll's got to have his whistle wet a little bit with this one. This is something that I'd be intrigued with, considering what other running backs I have in the room. The idea that he's on an expiring contract, you can bring him back on the tender even next year. Yeah, it might end up in a second-round tender, but it gives you more time for a guy that you know has some Jahmyr Gibbs style of play in him as well. I'm not calling him that, but this is what this team needs, a guy that has the ability to run the ball and also make plays out of the backfield too. Now, again, his ability to stay healthy is the biggest part that he's got going on right now. I've seen him in practice. He run well. Jimmy White wrote about him too on TennesseeTitans.com on how his explosiveness looks like he's in year 1 again. Tajay has everything that you're asking him to do as a professional football player. The will, the drive, the heart, all of that is locked in with him. It's going to come down to what he does with the reps that he get during the season. But as far as what he's displayed so far, yeah, it is more of the same, if not a little bit more on top of it, too, because his adjustment to how Cam has developed in this offense so far, it's intriguing.
What do you mean by that?
As far as his ability to catch out the backfield and watch him this past weekend just burst through a screen down the sideline and just finish. Like those things right there is what a coach is planning his play, his script for in the fall. It's where you go up in these joint practices and see, okay, how good can I be in these closed settings to make sure that he's closing out the same way now and then too. Yeah. I'm of the mindset for a guy like Tajay. I said this. I told Babs this past weekend, we were standing with her at practice. I said, watch this. He's going to have a career year this year. Some guys like him thrive under this type of pressure. Last year in this contract, a lot of questions with the new coaching staff. Can he stay healthy? This is the type of year where pressure can catapult him into a bigger name in which he found himself either getting a tender here in Nashville or he hit the free agent market and get him a Chig Okonkwo type of a contract. I don't think Tajay's done, and I think his best days are ahead of him when it comes down to where he's at and just being available. That's where it starts, the available part, Will.
I could see him kind of being another Tyler Algier-like player. And what Tyler Algier was behind Bijan Robinson this past year in Atlanta when, again, at the end of his rookie deal, as a career running back 2, he earned himself 2 years, 12 and a quarter from Arizona. Now he's going to go be at number 2 behind Jeremiah Love as well. But that being said, when you say career year for Tajay Spears, statistically, what does that look like for you?
Statistically, I think if he's in a position where he can get over 1,400 all-purpose yards, that's a career year.
That's a lot.
It is a lot. But here's the thing. If he can catch the football out the backfield, get 400-500 yards there, if he does find himself in a position to where he can get on some special teams, give Chimbre a time or two a break on kickoff return, that part of the game to me, I think is still available to him. And also if he can get, let's go 12 to 1,400, 600 on the ground and about another 5 through the air for a guy
I was
like
just going to
Tajay.
say 1,000. I thought 1,000 was reaching for the stars.
If he explodes the way I've seen this offense allow him to, down the sideline, or getting those yards, Will, and you know what, I feel like you saw what this offense could be, too, for a guy like him that's got quick explosiveness.
Well, yeah. I mean, and I think for me, it's more about Cam's willingness to just get rid of it and Cam's willingness to check it down and be a bit more mature and patient in his progressions. Let's say that. Last season, Tajay Spears had 72 carries for 283 yards and 2 touchdowns. He played 13 games. He started 1. And according to Football Reference, he had 45 catches for 264. I would give him 1,000 yards of total offense in a great season.
And a great season for him?
Yeah. Because to me, it's more about getting the rushing yards. Because now you also have Nick Singleton to feed in the backfield as well, and I tend to believe they're going to want him to take some of the responsibility away from Tajay that had been given to him.
I think Nick gets a little bit more time, meaning that a playmaker like Tajay is a sure thing. The veteran side of him, of knowing what to do and how to do it as well. And I'd question a few things if I did see Nick Singleton getting more reps and opportunities than a guy like Tajay, because I don't think Tajay's going to allow that. The veteran side of him, I understand how this league is, and he needs this year more than anything. I just can't see him taking a back seat and allowing the rookie to pick up a bigger role for him. Even if he is, Will, worthy of it, the veteran presence to know what you're up against as far as contract goes, I don't think he allows that more than anything. And again,
it comes down to health. I mean, what he allows is not fully what is relevant here, right? Like, because he can allow it based on what he does on the field, but if he gets hurt, that's not necessarily Tajay Spears allowing or not allowing something. It's just something that happens to him.
I know, and that's the part that I'm removing. I'm removing the injury component of this conversation for a guy like Tajay. Because here's the other thing, though, too. Singleton, who's working back from something as well, got to make sure that he stays healthy, because he's lightly behind the 8 ball, too. He's getting some work in, but I don't think he's 100% as well right now, too.
Not yet.
Not yet. And again, this is all without pads on, and I give you credit for that one, too. The idea that they have to make it through training camp, that's what Tajay, I feel like, had a little bit of a hiccup last year as well. Got injured in training camp and kind of slowed him down at the start of the season. We know this, though. The amount of weapons and the ball that got to be spread around, I think, opens it up for a guy like Tajay. The fact that you got an outside threat now with Carnell, with Calvin, and also Wandale, not even mentioning the tight ends, that right there to me gives a little bit more of a presence to a guy of why Tajay will work in this offense better suited. Because, again, if Cam's going to have the ball in his hand and have to get rid of it, you got to account for him in the backfield, more so than almost any other back on this team.
Yeah. I mean, just including the health part of it. That's a major question. And secondly, how much does this GM and this new coaching staff value the guy that they picked at running back? That is a question we do not have an answer to yet.
We don't. You view Singleton more of a bruiser or more of a pass catcher, though?
Pass catcher.
He's a pass catcher.
He's Tajay.
Okay. All right, for
That's
sure.
what he was at Penn State. He was a receiving back.
I'm just not, and I don't think you are either. I'm just not ready to get off the Tajay train. I got to see this one all the way through.
I can't quit him.
I can't, and that's,
He is such an easy guy to root for. He is so dynamic with the ball in his hands. We just keep having the qualifier of when healthy. And that's what we're assuming within this. When healthy, what does Tajay Spears look like in the Titans offense? Is Tony Pollard, as he gets older, 100% of what he was last season? I don't think we have the answer to that either. So we'll see. The other part of having more production at the running back position is being up in more games late. How much does this team have to throw the football because they're down? How much can they actually protect leads this year? Because even the games they won, they weren't really protecting leads. They were kind of taking them right at the end, with the exception of the Chiefs game. So going to be interesting. Going to be very interesting to see exactly how they piece all of that together and how much Cam continues to use his running backs as pass catchers as well. Because right now, we're seeing a lot of that. And Jim Wyatt noted it at TennesseeTitans.com. 4 catches for Tajay Spears in Friday's practice, which was right up there with Carnell Tate and Xavier Estrepo.
The gift that keeps giving, man.
That's exactly right.
The other part, though, too, about this is when you look at the balance that this offense can have. And not just that, but you have an on-the-job play caller in Brian Dable, too, that I think helps settles and give answers to how he can call a game plan. I'm not sure if Brian Callahan had ever been in this situation to where he knew exactly what he was going to do, been in scenarios in real games where it was him that had to make these calls and not just suggest that, hey, Zach Taylor, you should run this in these moments. That's one thing we do know about this staff. Offensively, Brian Dable has been on the sideline, knew who he was going to and how he was going to formulate a plan to. He wasn't just setting up the structure or breaking down tape. That, to me, is where I think the separator from last year's staff, respectfully, to this year's staff takes the next step. The maturity and experience of knowing the flow of the game, the feel of the game, who you should go with in those moments, I think will pay dividends for a guy like Cam who wants to go off script probably from time to time, or to a guy, let's say like Carnell or Calvin, who want the ball in week 3 and they hadn't gotten it as much as they want to, and it's because Wandale is high. Well, those types of scenarios, you paint those out. But here's what I've also seen from coaches like this. They know how to delegate importance. They speak to the quarterbacks a little bit different. They know how to talk to the wide receivers in moments in which they are a little frustrated. And that's where last year's team, in my opinion, kind of just fell apart when it came down to how to balance those personalities. I don't think you can understate or overstate how much experience from a play caller perspective changes the way players look at you, how they deal with you, and how they watch you deal with in-game scenarios as well. And last year was a whole lot of dysfunction and hope. This year, I think there's a whole lot of direction that's given.
I like it. Well, speaking of experience, calling plays and being in charge, Josh Elander never had that going into his first season with Tennessee baseball, and they are out 0-2 over the weekend, losing to ECU and VCU, 5-4 loss on Saturday. And Josh Elander says post-game, I think the game has told us we need to make some adjustments. We will make those in the offseason. Excited to continue to grow, to get better. 7-3 loss in 14 innings, 5-4 loss on Saturday. The state of Tennessee baseball is interesting. Ramon, what did you think about the weekend and what this program is moving forward?
I mean, the fact that they weren't overly competitive. And what I mean by that is, yeah, they fought. They gave all they had for UT, but they didn't win any games. That shows, again, where they are as a squad. Josh Elander inherited this team in a chaotic fashion, to be quite honest with you. There was no way in order for him to get the team that he wanted. Ended up losing his pitching coach, strength and conditioning coach as well, and he had to pick up the ball and run with what he was presented with. This offseason, to me, I think is a better tell to what he is as a coach and what types of players that he will be bringing in. Whether it was the pitching staff this year that couldn't figure it out or hitting that kind of skidded and got back out again too. This team was, to me, I felt like a little rush. And also with expectations that in year one, they couldn't match. They just couldn't. I won't say it's unfair because, again, for them to make it to the postseason, get eliminated, you see that Josh Elanders knows how to hold this team together. But in general, I'm looking at what he does next year, not particularly this year. This team was disjointed, I think, from the get-go. I think the fuss that was made about Josh Elander getting the job, the Tony Vitello scandal of him leaving, how he left as well, we were lucky, I think, to get this far.
It was a disappointing first season. I don't think they were necessarily lucky to get that far because they were still so talented.
Very much so.
Being a 2 seed in a regional is not that far, right? Like, they didn't win a game. They've got to show more. Now, is that totally on Josh Elander? No. It's on the players. It's on the coaches. It's on everybody involved within this because you got to wear it for what it is. It's the first time you've gone out in a regional since 2019, also in Chapel Hill. It was interesting, though, just kind of watching this team as the season went, because it felt like they were getting hotter at the plate and colder at the mound. They were among the SEC leaders in homers, slugging percentage, and runs, which tracks. That's normal Tennessee baseball. They struck out at one of the lowest rates among recent UT teams. They struck out 8.1 times per game. That was fewer than every Tennessee team since 2021, except for one in 2025. But this team had its lowest batting average since 2019. Tennessee hit 278 as a team. It walked only 239 times. That was the lowest figure since Josh Elander arrived at Tennessee prior to 2018. And the on-base percentage was the lowest since Tony Vitello took over, period. Lowest since 2018. The second worst figure in the SEC at a 367 on-base percentage. Tennessee hitters are always aggressive early in counts with Josh Elander. That's the way that they like it. They're going to recruit the best players and trust that you can go hunt.
Yeah.
Literally, that's what they talk about, on the hunt. And then results are going to come because you are so talented. I don't think this team was comparatively as talented as some others. I think they were at the plate. I think they had some bad portal evaluations on the mound. I can't guarantee you that even Tony Vitello gets much more out of this team. I do think they win a couple games in a regional. I don't think this is a super regional team, even with Tony Vitello in charge. Teams at the top of this sport have proven to us time and time again, it is very hard to sustain success and to reload. The last two number one overall seeds now in the NCAA baseball tournament have both gone out in the regional. Vandy did last year. UCLA did this year.
Yeah.
LSU, not in the NCAA tournament at all this year. You have got a number of teams, like most of them, who were in Omaha last year, who are already out, who have no chance at making it to Omaha this year. When you have that a little bit extra success and go to a Super or Omaha, guys go pro a bit more quickly or get a bag somewhere else. It is really hard to sustain success. I think the grade is incomplete so far for Josh Elander. I'm not going to give a eulogy to Tennessee baseball as a program. I'm also probably not going to have the same expectations I would if Tony Vitello was there. The grade is just kind of incomplete. And the state of the program right now is a program that did not win a game in the NCAA tournament. That's what they have to wear. And until they prove otherwise, that is the identity of that team and those players going forward into this offseason. So long way to ramble around and say, we'll see.
Yeah. What I don't want to happen, though, is all this momentum and new floor that's been raised for Vols baseball program to just go away, though, as well.
I don't think it will.
But
I don't think it will.
Just looking at what I feel like a little bit of last year, what Tony leaving kind of did, and social media is not real life, is my point. But them losing as quick as they did in a regional. Josh Elander, I think he met the mark. Probably I think he went above it as well as a coach. My point of is that it's Tony's ability to draw you in with him. Elander has to draw us in by what he does with this team on the field because he's not like Josh. I mean, he's not like Tony Vitello. He's not going to rah-rah you and bark you.
No, he's different.
So the wins, I think, have to be, or the show has to be on the field more so to keep this at the level that it is. That's from a fan's perspective, from the general UT baseball fan, because I feel like a lot of us, our fan base, has turned into that. Well, baseball is good, but it's as good as long as you win it. Keep that same momentum going. And that, to me, I think is one of the biggest challenges that Josh Elander has, is proven going into this next season that he can win big.
I can't say he's met the bar when they go 0-2 in the NCAA tournament.
Considering the situation,
still a really good team.
It was, but again, it's your point you brought up. There's a lot of good teams that aren't in the postseason or get knocked out in the first round as well.
Yeah, they didn't meet the bar either.
We're no way at UCLA level this year.
Of course not. Yeah. But two things can be true. Neither team met the bar of what they should have been this year.
For sure, which is why it's a bigger
lot of teams
challenge.
didn't, and Tennessee's one of them.
My point, I don't think Elander gets the same amount of grace if this was Tony. So it's got to go quick for him as far as wins and losses going into this next season.
Of course he doesn't, because Tony's won a national title as a coach.
Yeah.
Josh has not afforded the same luxuries as Tony, because Tony earned those luxuries.
Him being a part of the staff matter much at all? Considering everybody said it was his brain trust.
I'm not saying fire the guy.
Yeah, okay.
I'm just saying it was a disappointing season.
It was, but
I thought they would have not really missed a beat. Like my expectation for this team was minimum super regional, and that's what Tennessee baseball is. It's a team with a lot of well-paid players and with an experienced coaching staff. It was a disappointing year. That's fine. We move on. It happens. 615-737-1045. You know who's not having a disappointing year is Tennessee softball. Involved in a major controversy over the weekend. Sounded like Sean Connery. Controversy. That we'll talk about coming up next.
Genesis Diamonds takes financing rates all the way down to zero. Right now, only at Genesis Diamonds, pay nothing down and get 0 interest for 5 years on any purchase. A handcrafted Sakori ring with a GI certified diamond is only $100 a month. Wedding bands, colored bands, fashion necklaces, just $40 a month. You can pick any item, pay 0 down, and spread your payments over 5 years, even the sales tax. And how about that amazing $3,000 pair of diamond stud earrings? Well, you can get those for just about $50 a month. Luxury pre-owned Rolex watches included in this as well. While interest rates are still high everywhere else, Genesis is offering real interest rate relief, and you need to take advantage of this. 0.0 for 5 years, all the way to the year 2030. This makes everything more affordable, and it's just the smartest way to buy. Don't miss this amazing offer. All natural and lab-grown diamonds are included in this now through June 30th at Genesis Diamonds. On approved credit for sure, and see store for details. They're located in Green Hills and Cool Springs.
Ramon and Will wrapping up hour number one. Controversy in Oklahoma City at the Women's College World Series. The drama was thick over the weekend, Ramon.
Real thick this weekend.
So Tennessee beat Texas Tech 2-1 Saturday in a thriller of the Women's College World Series, advancing to the national semifinal, essentially the Final Four, in which the Lady Vols will take on Texas today. 2-1, an Emma Clark walk-off homer. And so there was this big drama last year because Taylor Pannell was a Lady Vol a season ago. Really good young player. Immediately after the season ended, transfer portal. Texas Tech. Karen Weekly did an interview. Did not name Taylor Pannell, but said, well, I'm all for young women getting paid, but it's unfortunate when a player is having negotiations and a deal with a team before she's entered the portal.
They were in the College World Series last year as well. Like, that's the other part to me that's disheartening about Pannell making that move. And this is normal. This is also why coaches are also ticked off at the idea of what is the portal? My girls need to focus.
That's why we have congressional intervention right now. In college sports.
And I'm with her. Like, if you got to market Taylor Pannell, I understand your team needs to talk on your behalf, but can we wait a week or so, please?
Well, now she's talking in a different way. Because after the game, Taylor Pannell said in the post-game press conference, quote, "We were walking through the line just saying good game." And she, talking about Tennessee coach Karen Weekly, said that I made a mistake instead of saying good game, which is kind of crazy. Like, celebrate with your team. I just think it's funny she's still thinking about it. It's old news, whatever. Yesterday, ESPN, before Texas Tech's game against UCLA, showed footage of Karen Weekly saying good game as she walked by Taylor Pannell. Sideline reporter Holly Rowe said during the broadcast of Nebraska-Texas that she was in close proximity of the handshake line and observed Karen Weekly telling Pannell, good game. There is something that makes Taylor Pannell upset after she walks through the handshake line. Someone says something, you can see it on the video that ESPN shows, and then she turns around real quickly and looks. So surely she heard something. But her account post-game of saying Karen Weekly in the handshake line told her, you made a mistake instead of good game, is factually incorrect. And Taylor, we've got video. We have cameras. This is on national television. People can see you, as Ron Swanson once told Tom Haverford in Parks and Rec. It is, it's a shame that this is the story today and not an outstanding game and an outstanding Tennessee team that's now 3 wins away from its first softball national championship in program history.
No doubt. It was an amazing finish to the game. The Lady Vols, I don't think, was picked to beat either one of those teams this weekend. And considering what Texas Tech has as a squad, heck, they done ticked off everybody this year between Florida and everybody else that they've had to face, man. They are the hot team right now when it comes to controversy. Here's the issue, though. Taylor Pannell pretty much is ruining their run that they're on right now as they advanced last night because this was a non-story the way I look at this one, too. And the other side for me is, like, players like Taylor Pannell get other folks in trouble, or you find yourself saying, man, if you're this catty to say this, I mean, you couldn't either perform, like prove it, or did you actually hear them say these type of words? Like, those type of girls right there as a teammate, they make you nervous. Like, what are you doing? Like, where is your focus at in these moments as well? Karen Weekly, again, too much of a professional to say this to a player that they just beat. Why would I tell you chose wrong after the game when all those cameras and microphones are on as well anyway? Girls like that, man, make you nervous when it comes down to how they project themselves and just how this should have been a non-issue for her as a squad. Maybe she felt that. Maybe she felt that in that moment that this is what they were thinking about her. That outside pressure from a player's perspective, it hits you. It's like, man, did I mess up? Did I make the right decision? That was your own, I think, a guilty conscience speaking to you more than anything. Whoever said what to her, again, speak up if you want to, but in those moments, don't be accusing the coach when you know that's not what she said. It was too quick of a moment.
It was certainly not Karen Weekly.
No.
Certainly not Karen Weekly. Based on her reaction, it looked like somebody said something. But to say it was Karen Weekly in the handshake line is just truly, for what we can see, factually incorrect.
It's very incorrect.
Yeah.
And I think at some point, if they do see each other after this, I'm like, go say something to her. At least bury the hatchet when it boils down to clearing Karen Weekly of these type of allegations. It's not okay. Again, I know most coaches are hard, and I'll be honest with you as well. Some people do want some get back against you when you leave them like that. But I don't think this is Karen Weekly's stick to just be bad talking former players.
No, that's not who Karen Weekly is. That would be tremendously out of character.
Yes, very.
And Brandon Panel, her dad, was a Twitter warrior, talking about a reporter and saying, your dad is rolling around in his grave reading clickbait trash that you write. He said that to a reporter yesterday. Brandon Panel needs to log off and not embarrass his daughter even more than she's already embarrassed herself. I mean, let's just get that out of the way. Please. Be the adult in the room, not the child. And Brandon Panel, the father of Taylor Panel, go look at his Twitter. He is a child. We got to call out this sicko behavior for what it is when it happens. It's trash behavior. You are acting like a child.
I love that.
And overshadowing a great tournament, a sport that is growing exponentially right now. It is fast-paced. It's exciting. The stands are totally packed. Softball's having a moment right now in the same way that women's basketball has. It's not just here locally with Tennessee. Softball is an outstanding product. People like Brandon Panel make it worse.
Yeah.
So why don't you just log off and leave, and we don't need to hear any more from Brandon Panel.
And here's the thing. You're not going to fix a thing by arguing with folks on social media.
No, you're just going to make it worse.
Not even a little bit right there. It becomes more and more embarrassing for your entire camp and the team that's out there playing too, because now the opposing fans got something to scream and chant about.
All of it is totally childlike behavior, and it's disappointing.
Yeah.
Coming up, hour number 2 of the program. Big headline in Knoxville for Tennessee football over the weekend. What VolQuest is reporting about Chaz Coleman, who returned to Knoxville over the weekend. We'll talk about it coming up next. What's up? It's Will Boulding. I love talking about my friends at Fleet Feet Nashville because I have been a Fleet Feet customer since I was in high school. Fleet Feet puts you in the right running shoes. They're going to get you out on the road if you are a seasoned runner training for a big race or if you're just getting started. There is a running community here in Nashville ready to welcome you, and Fleet Feet are going to get you involved as well. Not just getting you the right shoes, the right inserts, the socks, all the stuff that you need. But they also have events like this one coming up on Wednesday, June 3rd. The Big Run. Celebrate Global Running Day with Fleet Feet Nashville and Brooks at a free 5K at Geodis Park. You got to head to fleetfeetnashville.com to find out more. Hosted by Fleet Feet, Wednesday, June 3rd, 6:30 p.m. Not just a race, but a celebration of 50 years of Fleet Feet and the running community. The first 1,500 participants receive a commemorative medal, and they're raffling off 50 prizes to honor Fleet Feet's 50th anniversary. So you can check them out online, fleetfeetnashville.com. The kind of events that get you involved in with Fleet Feet Nashville online at fleetfeetnashville.com.
7:03. Good morning, live from the Circus Sports at the Mid-Kentucky Downs studio. I'm Justin Hawkins. Tennessee Lady Vols softball took down Texas Tech 2-1 on Saturday after an Emma Clark walk-off home run in the ninth inning to move on to the Women's College World Series Championship semifinal. The Lady Vols will have a rematch with Texas at 11 a.m. this morning on ESPN and a second game at 1:30 if necessary due to double elimination. On the men's side, Tennessee baseball was eliminated from postseason contention after losing 7-3 to ECU on Friday and then 5-4 to VCU on Saturday. The NBA Finals are set. The San Antonio Spurs upset the Thunder in Oklahoma City Saturday night to win Game 7, 111-103, and dethrone the defending champions. The Spurs, who are in the finals for the first time since 2014, will now host the New York Knicks for Game 1 of the NBA Finals, which starts this Wednesday. And the Stanley Cup Finals, they're also set after the Hurricanes dominated the Canadiens in Game 5 Friday night 6-1 to win the Eastern Conference Finals 4-1. The Stanley Cup Final begins with Game 1 Tuesday night in Raleigh. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once. On your home for the Titans and Vols, this is 104.5 The Zone.
Away we go into hour number 2 of the program. Ramon and Will streaming live on 104.5 The Zone TV, as well as the 104.5 The Zone app. Facebook Live, YouTube, Twitter, or Twitch. 615-737-1045 is our number. Continuing to monitor the Chaz Coleman saga in Knoxville, we had more updates over the weekend. Specifically on Friday, Ramon.
Yeah.
As Tennessee transfer Chaz Coleman returned to Knoxville on Friday, according to a report from Austin Price of AllQuest, while his future with the Vols remains unclear. What his return means, he says, is unknown, as the former Penn State defensive end has not participated in team activities since early April. Coleman was supposed to arrive back in Knoxville no later than Wednesday last week, but as the day came and went, he never arrived. Of course, on Wednesday as well, in addition to not returning to Tennessee, he was on Instagram featuring a post from now 3 weeks ago that had pictures of Coleman posing with money and in front of a car. That account was no longer active as of Wednesday night. The specifics of the issues are unknown. He has been missing from the practice field and the weight room since the second week of spring practice, but did spend a good bit of time with Rodney Garner in late April and May before he went to Ohio after final exams. A step in some kind of direction, Ramon, but how much does this move the needle for you, seeing that Chaz Coleman is at least back in Knoxville?
Barely is what I would say. Because the issue I have with Chaz Coleman's situation, aside from if it's a mental health part of this thing, is it's very unprofessional. I've known players, if we're going to talk about the pro model in the NFL, that have dealt with personal issues and have to be out of the building or have to go seek therapy, but they continue to work through it and communicate with the team. This back and forth and leaving and just miscommunication that they have going on right now, I would say is very unprofessional. Lightly childish, but these are children in a men's business right now, in a real business, having to balance and manage all of this stuff. So I told you last week, a couple of my sources told me that, like, hey, there is a little bit of him being used as a pawn as far as the money side of it, as far as his inability to manage family and say no. Like, those two letters right there, N and O, man, mean so much to people who are in these situations that can just continually, if they don't learn how to use them, put them in this situation, if that's true. But there's an obligation to the contract that you sign. I'm looking at his situation. I'm saying to myself, if you're, dealing with something, can we at least get you in-house? I know most teams, I know for a fact, college teams have in-house therapy. I know for a fact that teams will outsource a therapist for you if you're dealing with something and got to be enrolled in a clinic somewhere. There is a better pathway for him to get this public heat off of him, because all that does is pile on to him more and more and more that these articles come out, the assumption that he's been kicked off the team, the fact that people publicly have to fight for that to be said, not to be true as well. And then for me, the last part is he was paid to come to the University of Tennessee to play football. If he's not worked out, if he's not been running, if he's not been training, if he's not done any of those things, the idea of him being ready in the fall or the amount of muscle mass that he's lost, it's going to be hard-pressed to get all of that back and be in football shape by the time the season kicks off. When your teammates have gone through spring practice, off-season workouts, and just the entire camaraderie of what it means to be a part of a squad.
Yeah, I think even the best case scenario does not see him starting when the season starts.
I can't see it.
He's got a lot of work to do to earn his way back into a contributor role. And heck, let's forget contributor role. Just someone who can put on the uniform on Saturdays and be ready to play.
Yeah.
Right.
He's a slightly built a young athlete, meaning that his need and process to put on weight, to put on muscle weight, to put himself in the best condition, you'll almost be flagrant by just throwing him out there because it's asking for an injury to happen again, and that may lead to more depression. I'm not sure which one of these scenarios are true with him, but having him in the building is the first step, and I feel like in this situation, this should have been the case from the get-go, despite the mental warfare that he's going on right now, or the emotional one as well.
So based on what was reported over the weekend, Austin Price gave more details as well about the money side of things and how Tennessee has avoided disaster here in paying a lot of money to a guy who is right now not playing football for them. So he signed an NIL deal that is worth around $2 million, according to sources with direct knowledge of the situation to VolQuest. Coleman was out at practice for a few days, but then made the decision to pull himself out for the remainder of spring. He dealt with what he thought were concussion problems, dating back to the last month of the 2025 season in which he missed the month of November. Things lingered into winter workouts once he arrived at Tennessee, where specialists continued to evaluate him. According to VolQuest, Tennessee and its NIL operations team gave Coleman support and time to breathe through most of March and April as he worked through some things off the field. Late in spring practice, here's the interesting thing. Sources told VolQuest that Tennessee met with Chaz Coleman and his family to work towards a path for his return to the field. Sources indicated to VolQuest that both parties agreed to restructure his NIL deal and that most of his money was pushed back until a date late this fall to protect Tennessee because of the ongoing issue with attendance in the building. Sources told VolQuest that Coleman has only received a small portion of his agreed-upon deal. In essence, Coleman's family and Tennessee agreed to backload the money to incentivize his return. The way I understand that is this is still not a money negotiation. It's not that Chaz Coleman hasn't been paid and is holding out to get more or to get his money. It's that Chaz Coleman started holding out and taking himself out of practice. And then they came to an agreement and everybody said, okay, that works, to him having his money pushed back for the time being. There's not a lot of trust here, clearly. If you feel the need to restructure a player's contract before that player has even played a snap for you, it does not bode well, in my opinion, speaking for myself, for his chances of being a major contributor for Tennessee football in 2026.
No. Two things we don't know from that as you're talking, I'm listening, was one, what was Chaz Coleman in this conversation with his family? Was he a part of it, or did they agree without him because they are feeling the strain financially?
Yeah, did this happen with him or to him?
Yeah, so that part of it too, like, is he okay with these parameters that are being set by his family and the Tennessee Vols collective? That's number one. The other part, though, too, with this, and this is an old school way of doing things. Like before NIL was a part of it, agents used to just filter money through players too. They get you a line of credit. If you were projected to be a first, a second, a third round pick, or even a fifth rounder, let's say for fifth rounders, those dudes could get like a line of credit for about $200,000. If you were a higher rated guy, you can get a line of credit, heck, for $1 million plus if you wanted to, because you knew you were going to go get it back. That's how you function in pretty much live the way you want to in the old ways of college football. That's where I have an issue with them agreeing to this pushback money. Is I'm sure he got a nice bag from Penn State, being that he was a high caliber player, 5-star if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
What we expect is this. Let's play the conspiracy theory part of it too. He probably wants to go to Ohio State. This is the way some people put it out there.
I don't know. I don't know that.
I just want to play this game. I don't know this either.
I think that's hard to speculate.
It is. But my question is, with them agreeing to pushing his money back, who's paying, or did they get a line of credit as well to float them to this point if he's gotten a very small percentage of it? I saw a number that was thrown out there. It was only 5 figures. It was only 5 figures of what was a 7-figure deal. If that's the case, then yeah, he's probably low on cash. My question is, if he doesn't want to continually be in Knoxville, how is he in a spot to where he's been able to live the way he wants to and also have his money pushed back?
Yeah, I don't know.
It's who's floating him the cash if that's the case. And if that is the way college coaches and teams are working, then yeah, they got to get a CBA done quickly. You shouldn't be able to hold over a player for a year if he's not wanting to be at the place that somebody else signed him up for. That's the only speculation I have about this.
That would surprise me.
It wouldn't with me the way this has gone down.
It would surprise me if Ohio State was paying Chaz Coleman right now.
We'll look at the Legend Bay situation. I'm not saying they were paying them, and I'm not blaming Ohio State. It's not, but like, I'm not saying it's specifically Ohio State in this situation, but clearly there was a miscommunication between what Chaz Coleman want, what his family want, and what Tennessee thought they were getting. That's the biggest issue in all of this. This doesn't happen if there's a CBA involved in this. You just ding them and move on from it. Like, the issue again is this. It's us. It's the Vols again. This is, to me, in a sense of, it's Nico 2.0 minus the fact that he can transfer out. And that's just a stain again, because I know that program. I know parents that went up this weekend with their children. It was like, man, this is an awesome environment. They met all the coaches. They do preach the family component of it, and it holds true. I've seen the way the parents act around there. I've watched the players in an era in which they don't have to communicate with one another, and it doesn't seem problematic to me. So what's the issue with the Chaz Coleman side of this thing? And again, it correlates itself to, again, who is making the decisions for these young men, with or without them, and to cause these problems over and over and over again.
It's not just Tennessee.
I know it's not, but it's us again with a huge situation with a high caliber player again.
Yeah. It's interesting. We're going to see how it plays out, and I'll be able to give you a firmer opinion on what I think's happening or what has happened once the situation is done. But for now, limbo continues for Chaz Coleman and Tennessee football. A part of the team hasn't been dismissed at this point from the program and was on campus on Friday. So we'll see.
The money side of this era it'll expose a lot of people. Who actually cares about the game? Who actually cares about the bread? Because the ultimate goal, the way college is set up, now it's incorporated with money, but the ultimate goal is to maximize your talents to make it to the highest level, and that's the NFL. This cushiness that's been thrown into this game, this world, I'm highly appreciative of it, because we begged for stuff like this. We begged for an extra $1,500 a month. But still, the end goal was make it to the league. Chaz Coleman and anybody else that's like him, in my personal opinion, you question if they love the game, because the guys that I love to battle with, they love competing. They didn't like missing workouts. Guys used to get in fights over other dudes that miss workouts. And these guys just willy-nilly have everything in front of them, and they're okay with not playing the game.
Some of them are.
Like, I just can't imagine having a teammate like that. I'm not saying get rid of Chaz Coleman, but the idea that we got to beg your behind to come and work out and be around us, that's part of the game right there that I don't think nobody's signing up for. And this cushiness that they're allowed to have, because you can just break a contract anytime you want to, is very bothersome for what college football could be moving forward.
It's well said. Very well said. Coming up, the Titans are going to have a unique approach to one big thing on defense. You'll hear from Robert Saleh and D-line coach Aaron Whitecotton talking about that next. What's going on? It's Will Bowling. Hey, are you dealing with flickering lights, faulty outlets, or just that circuit that won't stay on at home? Well, Lee Company has your back. Their award-winning team of electricians handle it all, from routine repairs and fixture upgrades to whole home generators. Available 24/7. Keep your home efficient and safe by contacting Lee Company. You can find them online at leecompany.com. That's leecompany.com for professional electrical service from the pros with over 80 years of experience serving Middle Tennessee. And when they say available 24/7, that should be music to your ears, because the second you notice something's not working the way it's supposed to is always the worst possible moment. When you got somebody coming over to the house, you're hosting during this nice time of the year outside, just make sure everything's working the way it's supposed to. Get Lee Company out there. They'll take care of it for you. Book an appointment online at leecompany.com. That's Lee Company, all you need. Ramon Will on 104.5 The Zone, hour number 2 of your Monday morning. Trey Wallace coming up at 8:20. Josh Corey of the Tennessee Titans coming up in hour 4 at 9:20. Your thoughts at 615-737-1045. So the Titans are going to have a bit of a unique approach to defensive line play under head coach Robert Saleh. We've touched on this a bit. Saleh and defensive line coach Aaron Whitecotton went into this conversation with more detail before Friday's OTA practice that was open to the media. Talking about rotating guys so much that they can rush when they need them to rush. This was the Titans head coach speaking pre-practice on Friday.
Well, that's you hit it on the last one. That's the important part. The reason why we rotate so much is so our horses can rush the passer when it's time to rush the passer. So if Jeffrey is too tired to rush on third down, then our D-line coaches we have a problem. So the objective is to make sure guys like Jeffrey, John, Jermaine, Jacob, Femi are as fresh as heck when it comes down to third down in 2 minutes so we can go get after the quarterback.
I'm sure you've studied, like, what's the max plays where a guy then starts to have diminishing returns.
Okay.
If you can go 4 plays in a row, you're not doing it right.
There we go. So you heard the follow-up question there on if you could play 4 plays in a row, we can't play the way that we want to play. 4 plays is not very many, Ramon.
It's not very many. But for a defense that is as high-powered, high-octane as they're going to have to be, yeah, it has to be this type of rotation. I actually had a quick conversation with him about going against his style of defense, Coach Saleh, that is, and just it's never any break for an offensive line that's having to figure out what's next. Like the way Jeffrey Simmons, I feel like, has played in years past here, he's going to play about like 85% of the snaps. And in that, there's the wear down that happens. I think that's why Jeff ended up shaping his body the way he did last year, too, because he wants to be able to sustain that level of play throughout the duration of the season. He mentioned it before, Jeffrey Simmons, as far as he would gain weight during the season, and he's not trying to go back to those old ways. If you look at what Robert Saleh is telling us right now, too, it explains, if we can be quite honest and transparent, why a guy like T'Vondre Sweat's not in this offense. I mean, in this defense. You need stamina.
Sure. I think so.
You need speed. You need the ability to, hey, give me 100% every single time. If your personality type doesn't match that, or you're not in shape enough to deliver the way I want you to, then you're not going to fit. Again, the waves of defensive linemen that come in, I was explaining this to Babs on Fridays. We were out there standing. It's just like, if done right and with the right personnel, you don't necessarily have to worry about the back end of the defense, because that group is going to be so chaotic, so wild, so intense, and so athletic that you put yourselves in a position as an offense where you better get going quickly, and that creates a whole lot of pressure. The idea, in my personal opinion, is to get the quarterback off his spot as quick as you possibly can, change his eyes, and move him around the pocket and where he falls into traps. Will, listen to me. It absolutely is a nightmare having to deal with this type of defense when they're hitting on all cylinders.
So you're okay with the heavy rotation?
Yes.
I'm curious. I'm not saying I'm not okay with it. I'm more curious in how it's going to look and how it's going to work, considering the depth they have. So there was a writer who covers the Jets who charted the snap counts and the snap percentages for the 2022 New York Jets in 12 games in which all 4 of their top guys were active and didn't get hurt. What do you think the percentage was for Quinnen Williams of snaps in 12 games where all 4 defensive tackles were healthy?
I would go 46% of the snaps.
Quinnen Williams?
Quinnen.
Yeah.
If the rotation
very
is
low.
right. Yeah, that's very low. I'm thinking he's in at 40 to 60%.
66%.
Okay.
Because I think that's low, too. 66%.
Well,
Last year, Jeffrey Simmons was between 80 and 90%.
And that's a lot.
It's a ton.
That's a beat down. Like, we can't wait to beat you down. Like, okay, so the mindset of an offensive lineman just to separate the two sides of the ball.
Yeah.
Defensive line is fast, quick, and in a hurry every single time, which is why they rotate. They get tired. If the defensive players or defense in general doesn't run to the ball, offense scores. Offensively, there's a little bit of more of a pace that's given. Wide receiver know where his break is coming from. He knows that, hey, I got to get down on this play right here. Offensive linemen know I got to block him and sustain their charge, and I can pace myself a little bit quicker. That's why you see offensive linemen lightly jog. You see defensive linemen sprint every single time because one missing gap allows an explosion play when it comes down to defense. That's why that rotation is key. That's also why if you have a player that's stuck on the field or teams will game plan for you to put a guy like T'Vondre Sweat or a guy that's a bigger athlete on the field as well, you see yourself in a position where you can wear them down. You go no huddle, don't have any incompletions, you move the chains, they can't sub in the way you want them to. That's the differences to me.
Totally fair.
And that's where Jeff's found himself time and time again, too.
Easton Freeze wrote about it, said the expectation is most of these guys will sit in something closer to the 60 to 70% snap count range with Robert Saleh. Says stars like Simmons have been in the 80 to 90% snap count range in recent years here. So 2022, the full numbers for the Jets. Out of 6 post-bye week games in which all 6 edge rushers were active, John Franklin Myers played 58% of the Jets' defensive snaps. 71% of them were at edge, which I think is interesting.
It is.
29% in the interior. Carl Lawson was 53% on the edge. Jermaine Johnson, 35% of the snaps. Michael Clemens, 32%. Vinny Curry, 21%. Bryce Huff, 19%. That was an edge rusher. And then in 12 games in which all 4 of their top defensive tackles were active, it didn't get hurt. Quinnen Williams played 66% of snaps. Sheldon Rankins played 55% of snaps. Nathan Shepard, 33%. Solomon Thomas played 32% of the snaps. Do you feel like the Titans have the depth needed at the front 4 to be okay with rotating so many bodies in and out on their defensive line?
Yeah, because I think it takes the thinking away with this type of defense that they're going to play with up front. And what I mean by that is you don't have to hold your gap. You can make a mistake in this defense to a certain point and make a play. I was watching them in the pre-practice, and there's tape out there, and I saw reporters filming them. Coach White Cotton is absolutely in their behind on each and every play about getting upfield, the force that they play with. You heard and saw them too. Like they're running through pads and
it's
each other.
It's the loudest position group that warms up on the field.
It's not even close.
Yeah, it's a pack of wolves.
Yes, I was just going to say. It's like the neighborhood dogs, the menacing one, off the leashes. And he's asking those guys, he's begging those guys to be this way. He's creating a mindset that, okay, I don't care if you mess up as long as you're in the backfield. And when you have that style of play, I don't think you're shocked by the percentages that they're out on the field being low. Quinnen Williams playing 60% to me is because, one, he wants to, one, he's a weapon. I think that's kind of where Jeffrey Simmons sits. 50 to 60% of the snaps is where you'll find a guy like him that, one, has a name, known playmaker, and is in a position where he can somewhat call his shot as well. That's where I see Jeff. And I think Coach Saleh is 100% correct in saying, look, if he's not in on third down or we don't have answers equivalent to him because of the system, then it's a problem for the coaching staff. Being in a position like this, and I think this is where the questions on the secondary part of his defense play. If the secondary is in a problem position, in a position where they can't make plays, it's probably because the D-line hadn't got home. And that's where keeping the rotation fresh, having a mindset in which Coach White Cotton is pushing these guys, you may end up seeing in preseason camp darlings is what I would say. Because there's going to be one or two guys I feel like this training camp that emerges because this is the defense that they've dreamed of. I remember having
Who do you think that could be?
A guy like Truman Jones. I've watched him as of late. And I'm thinking to myself, like, okay, some people are just looking for the right opportunity and scenario. And I feel like watching him as of late has been a little bit of that. Him and David Abuka-Agoa, both of those guys, in my personal opinion, have kind of shown from time to time, it's like, okay, maybe it's a style of defense that they need to make production in this league.
Aaron Whitecotton was asked about coaching guys with so much energy. You hear a couple of different answers here pieced together in him mentioning former Titans defensive line coach Jim Washburn as an influence in his career.
I probably shouldn't say this, but like my mentor Jim Washburn used to always say, coach them like a raccoon that's on something. That's kind of how I look at it. You know what I mean? It's just really like a deranged raccoon out there. You go out there and get after it, and really push the limits of what we can do in practice, and then we're going to be all right in the games. That's just the way we were all brought up. I'm not even going to put myself in the same category as that man. I hold him in the utmost respect, and he's meant a lot to me. Along with Chris Surik, he and Coach Wash have meant the world to me. So I'm gonna leave him in his own category, and I'm just gonna try to come out here and do the best I can for the Titans.
What are some other things maybe you learned from Jim as you were coming up?
Style of play, just the way that that Coach Salah's and our team's mantra of fast and violent. I mean, that really embodies what Coach Wash taught me, and so it's really it's a draw to be here with Coach and to be here with this group, to have a mentality and to have a mantra that really speaks to the way that we're going to play as a defensive line, and so that carries on to the team. It's not like we're our own silo; it's the whole team. It was really exciting for me.
Tennessee Titans defensive line coach Aaron Whitecotton. Coach them like they're a raccoon that's on something. And watching them, that's what they look like. They look like raccoons that are on something.
Listen, man, it was like they're hitting the ground. They're exploding through the pad. They're hitting each other in a way that the CBA allows them to.
And no rules are being broken. They're just intense.
It's just violent.
It's loud. You could be mid-conversation and look over to the side field like, what the heck is going on? Oh, that's the defensive line warming up. Cool.
I would even add this to it as well. Like, it's not like a cheer camp is what I want to say, too. Like, there's a lot of instruction going on. I think it's on task drills that they're asking this squad to do, too. It's not like they're just putting them through silly cone drills. It's all position specific. I saw him one time stop the drill and pretty much break down what he's asking them to do, and it was for a specific reason. Coach Whitecotton's not asking those guys to just run drills for his benefit. It's very specific to the moves that they have to make to close out on a tackle or to beat an offensive lineman off the edge. It's low pads. It is screw their position on the field. Ours is to make them look negative. And that's what I got from them watching them the last few days.
So a commenter on YouTube says, Jeffrey Simmons is our best defender. Wouldn't you want him out there as much as possible? I understand being tired, but still, we need him out there.
I do. I want him out there as much as possible as an offensive lineman, because the war of attrition is usually won by the end of the game. The point of this defense and preserving Jeff is, if you look at the premier rushers around this league, and Jeff's turned himself into one, would you not say, Will?
Oh, there's no question.
Those guys, no matter how great they are, I'll name a few that I played against and watched them do this. Calais Campbell, J.J. Watt, T.J. Watt, Von Miller, Myles Garrett, another premier rusher. Let's get to those five right there. Myles Garrett picks and chooses where he's going to rush. Chris Jones picks and chooses where he's going to rush. J.J. Watt, historically, moved all the way up and down on the offensive line to pick and choose the guy that he wants. Jeff's ascended to that mode right now. And the way I view Jeffrey Simmons is, the fresher you can have him, the better it is for his career, for this Titans defense, and just the threat of, in third down moments, he's going to go cook. So, yeah, I do like the idea of him pulling back.
To your point, T.J. Watt last season played 69.7% of the Pittsburgh Steelers defensive snaps, but that was in 14 games. So he was at a higher percentage last year.
Yeah, he was. And again, the point of them preserving Jeff more is you don't want Jeff getting beat down. It's almost, you got to treat this defense the way offenses think about running backs. The more contact that they have, the more they wear down, the earlier their careers could end or their elite talent deteriorates. Jeff being put in this position, and I saw it coming into ask the question, how big is the drop-off between a tired Jeff and a fresh second-string guy? I'll say this. The second string guys shouldn't have a drop off because it's going to be see red, go get red most times. And defensive linemen who don't have to think, they thrive in those type of settings right there.
Sure.
These guys are still the top 1% of all athletes in the world when it comes down to football. There shouldn't be much of a drop off. It's just this. Jeffrey Simmons is just a tier up from those guys who are second string.
Right.
That's the point of this.
For the 2023 New York Jets, Quentin Williams played 68.5% of the snaps. That's around the neighborhood that Jeffrey Simmons is going to be in. In 2023 with the New York Jets, Quentin Williams still had 5.5 sacks. He forced a fumble and had 11 TFLs in that season. In 2022 with the New York Jets, Quentin Williams had even less of a snap count. Quentin Williams in 2022 had 61% of the snaps played and had 12 sacks. So the goal is to still allow and to encourage Jeffrey Simmons to have the same total overall level of production, but do it in less snaps because he's more impactful when he is out there. Mm-hmm. The goal is not for Jeffrey Simmons to have less sacks.
Yeah.
The goal is for Jeffrey Simmons to be even better, but show that the value can be that much greater when every 4 plays you're taking a play off, then you're right back in there. And the other goal, too, is that when you do have a big play, not only is he ready, but he's even readier, right? Like he's even fresher. Like I don't think we're going to very often see Jeffrey Simmons on the sideline for a big third down. The whole point is to avoid having Jeffrey Simmons on the sideline for a big third down. If that happens, the Titans give up a big play, then we'll talk about it when it happens and say, yeah, probably need to have Jeffrey Simmons out there.
For sure.
But rush and coverage work together within all of this as well, and you need your secondary to hold up its end of the bargain. And there are question marks at pretty much every part of the Titans secondary for different reasons. So, look, I'm not one to question much of what Robert Saleh has planned for his defense, considering the amount of success that he has had on defense. Sure. But I'm interested to see the individual numbers and just the individual output for a guy like Jeff, who played so many snaps last season and will have a little bit of a different looking role this season.
Remember how last year they had to force Jeff off to the sideline and he'd be sitting out an entire series?
Yes.
With this style of defense, you won't have to do that.
Right.
With lesser reps, he'll be more ready to go so that he's not dog-tied on the sideline and having to sit out 6 plays at a time.
Right.
He'll be back within the first 3 if necessary on third down situations.
Jeffrey Simmons last season played 72% of the defensive snaps. And he played 15 games. So if a fully healthy Jeffrey Simmons is out there for all 17, he's going to play that percentage of snaps playing hopefully 2 more games this year. That's the whole point, is that he played the same percentage last season, but he's also hurt for 2 games in the middle of the season. 615-737-1045 is our number. We'll hear more from Titans defensive line coach Aaron Whitecotton next. In this real estate market, you need a local agent with years of experience and a proven track record. You need Bernie Gallerani Real Estate if you're planning on moving. Don't rely on that national agent that doesn't know you, your neighborhood, or even care about your goals. There's no one size fits all. We have options that other agents simply don't or can't have. An option of the 30-day guarantee. Bernie Gallerani guarantees to sell your home in 30 days or less, or he'll buy it. No risk to you. He will let you out of the contract at any time, and he's going to take care of you through this process because he knows Middle Tennessee, and he has a heart for serving you and taking care of all the little things in the moving process. You can call Bernie Gallerani directly on his cell phone at 615-428-2644, or you can check him out online at BernieGallerani.com. He will get you results, and he'll get you peace of mind with his 30-day guarantee. That's 615-428-2644 online at BernieGallerani.com. Wrap it up, hour number 2 on this Monday morning, Ramon and Will. So the Titans are going to rotate bodies in and out on the front of their defense. Robert Saleh and Aaron Whitecotton spoke about it on Friday. What do you think about rotating so many guys in and out on the defensive line? Drew and McMinnville's first up of the phones this morning. What's up, Drew?
Morning, Drew.
It's been a minute. How y'all doing?
We're good, man. How you?
I'm great. Just blessed, man. This is for the fans that are concerned because Jeffrey Simmons not going to be out there for 100% of the snaps. So if you've got the defensive line that are just, as soon as the ball snapped, they're going crazy. They're giving it everything they've got. Ramon, I'm sure you can attest to this. If you've got 4 guys that are just going crazy as soon as the ball snapped, I'm sure that's got to be exhausting for an offensive lineman. So if they're going crazy, you can't sustain that for 100% of the snaps. You can't. There's no way. So keeping Jeffrey Simmons fresh so he can get out there and go absolute ham as soon as he's in the game, that's got to be more important than being out there for 100% of the snaps. That's why they've signed to the defensive lineman that they did, so that way they're deep, they can rotate guys, and still get production from the guys that are behind the starters.
Mm-hmm.
It's the smart thing to do, and so that way third down comes in. Jeffrey Simmons is fresh in the fourth quarter. Game's close. Guess who's fresh? The guys that started the game, the guys that are supposed to be on the field, they're fresh. They're ready to go. That's just the way, some people just don't understand it like that, but you got to understand that playing the way that they're teaching them guys to play right now, you can't sustain that for 4 quarters and be on the field for every snap.
Right.
Yep, no doubt. It's the style of ball more than anything. That's the point of it all. I mean, there will be a play or two that's probably giving up. But, again, when it comes down to situational football, this is where you want your guys to thrive at. Having them ready to go. John Franklin Myers, Jeff, Jermaine Johnson, like those guys in their stance, ready to go because they're fresh, because there's been moments that have allowed them to rotate in and out in these type of situations right here. This fits what defensive players want to do. You know what John Franklin Myers played last year in Denver? Percentage of the snaps?
What's that?
49%. He played 517 snaps last year. Like, this is speaking upon that style of ball right here. He's used to it. That rotation doesn't allow for guys to be lacking on defense whatsoever.
Yeah. I've got him at 46%.
You got him at 46%.
John Franklin Myers, yeah.
So this is what it provides for you in these moments right here is the freshness of it. And again, as Drew just said a second ago, like these dudes are tireless when it comes down to how they get after you on third down. And they know it's a pass, you know it's a pass, and you got to be able to stop them. Yeah. Do you see Nick Bonito's percentage last year of snaps?
Nick Bonito last season for the Denver Broncos played 61%.
1%. The rotation allows guys like him to have a lot of production. He had 14 sacks last year.
The guy who played the most was Zach Allen at 71% of the defensive snaps for the Denver Broncos. And that's what we said. That's about the top of where Jeffrey Simmons will be, around 70% of the snaps at the absolute most.
Exactly. It's for situational ball. Now, this defense will have its cons to it as well. We'll talk about that at some point in time too. But the attack side of what you're going to look at, it is stop the run on the way to the quarterback, if that makes sense to you. There's a party at QB1 each and every play.
There's some things that I think are more realistic questions about this team. There are more things that we could ask of Robert Saleh than, hey, how are you going to keep your front seven ready? Yeah. Like, it's kind of like asking Josh Heupel, like, oh, you going to have a system that's quarterback friendly this year? Well, of course.
Right.
Robert Saleh's entire career in this league has been built around front sevens that get after the quarterback and defenses that are elite.
Mm-hmm.
I am much more concerned about right guard, about nickel, about 2 corners that are making a lot of money in the depth behind those 2 guys, about wide receiver options behind, right now, Carnell Tate, about the future at running back, about the 2 tackles, Dan Moore and J.C. Latham. Like, I could probably list 5 or 6 things.
Cam's progress.
That are bigger questions on this football team than D-line rotation. And I'm not saying many of you are super worried about it, but I do think it's just something to go ahead and put on the record and lay the foundation of now. Don't be surprised when you see 98 standing on the sideline with the helmet in his hand. But also don't be surprised if you see 98 take another step and play even better this year.
Seriously.
Because of the way this defense is going to set him up for success. It was probably my second biggest takeaway watching practice, Ramon. Behind Carnell Tate and what he was able to do on the practice field, it's, my goodness, those D linemen are animals.
Yeah, they are.
Raccoons, according to D-line coach Aaron White-Cotton. Aaron White-Cotton was asked about pushback. Was asked if you gotten pushback from Jeffrey Simmons on playing a lot of snaps. He had this to say.
We haven't got any pushback from any of the guys. They all want to do things the right way. They all want to play every single play, and just finding like the delta of that is always going to be something. But Jeff's all in. He's been great. All of our guys, it's not just Jeff, all of our guys have been awesome, great attitude about it.
There you go. Spot the ball.
Spot the ball. They know what this can be. Like those guys understand what the benefit is. Like Jeffrey's been having to carry the weight of this defense on his shoulders for a while. And being able to say, I got guys that I can truly let go, that'll do the same exact things that I can, who are in shape, that have the same mentality that I have. And that's why I like Solomon Thomas signing. I like the John Franklin Myers signing as well, because you got vets that understand this defense too.
615-737-1045. How you jump into this Monday morning program. Coming up, where is the state of Tennessee baseball after an 0-2 weekend in the NCAA tournament? We'll talk about that coming up next. Give your father the gift of time this Father's Day with Brentwood Jewelry, and choose from their large selection of timepieces. What's going on? It's Will Bowling. Brentwood Jewelry has a gift that can fit any budget. And don't forget about Brentwood Jewelry's pre-owned Rolex marketplace. Give Dad the gift of a fine pre-owned Rolex for a fraction of the cost. Every watch they sell has been meticulously serviced to ensure the highest level of performance and is presented with a 2-year warranty. They offer an extensive online selection of fine pre-owned Rolex watches. Their selection includes both prior models and the current models for you to compare. You can check them out online at BrentwoodJewelry.com. Located in the heart of Brentwood, just off Franklin Road at 7012 Church Street East. Open Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Saturday, 9 to 4. Exceptional style, exceptional deals every day for over 50 years. Shop local with Brentwood Jewelry, your family-owned and operated jewelry store for over 50 years.
8:02. Good morning, live from the Circus Sports at the Mid-Kentucky Downs studio. I'm Justin Hawkins. Tennessee Lady Vols softball took down Texas Tech 2-1 on Saturday after an Emma Clark walk-off home run in the ninth inning to move on to the Women's College World Series Championship semifinals. The Lady Vols will have a rematch with Texas at 11 a.m. coming up this morning on ESPN and a second game at 1:30 if necessary due to double elimination. On the men's side, Tennessee baseball was eliminated from postseason contention after losing 7-3 to ECU on Friday and then 5-4 to VCU on Saturday. The NBA Finals are set. The San Antonio Spurs upset the Oklahoma City Thunder in OKC Saturday night to win Game 7 111-103 and dethrone the defending champs. The Spurs, who are in the finals for the first time since 2014, will now host the New York Knicks for Game 1 of the NBA Finals, which will get started on Wednesday. And the Stanley Cup Finals are also set after the Hurricanes dominated the Canadiens in Game 5 Friday night 6-1 to win the Eastern Conference Finals 4-1. The Stanley Cup Final will begin with Game 1 set for Tuesday night in Raleigh. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Second half of the show, 8 a.m., getting started on Ramon and Will. Glad you're with us. Hope you had a great weekend. Welcome to a new week and a new month here on The Zone in beautiful Music City before the weather rolls in. He is Ramon Foster. I'm Will Bowling. Justin Hawkins, our producer. You can hit us up in the F and Beg chat, the YouTube comment section, wide open. On the 104.5 The Zone YouTube channel. We'd love for you to hit the subscribe button while you are there. Hit the subscribe button as well for Trey Wallace coming up in 15 minutes. Riding for Outkick. Talk about SEC spring meetings, the takeaways from there. Maybe talk a little bit of Chaz Coleman, some Tennessee football. But, Ramon, Tennessee went 0-2, and the baseball season comes to an end. Softball, the only sport left for the Vols, and Lady Vols, I should say specifically, as they take on Tex at 11 a.m. today. Josh Elander, in his opening statement after UT's 5-4 loss to VCU, says, "The game has told us we need to make some adjustments. We will make those in the offseason, excited to continue to get better." 14-inning loss to ECU, 5-4 loss to VCU. How concerned are you about the state of Tennessee baseball, Ramon Foster?
As I turn on my mic
with your
here.
microphone.
I'm not overly concerned, just cautious about how Elander's going to be able to get him back up to that point. Because, again, he's not Tony. I think Tony's draw was insanely good. And if UT's identity is going to be a little bit more chill than it was under previous coaching with Tony V, then how do you attract the players with your scheme on the field? How do you bring in the types of players that used to come to Tennessee based upon that mantra, and you sustained it? Because Elander's a whole lot more chill, and I like that about him, though, too. But with where SEC baseball is right now and how you have to be very meticulous on who you're bringing in through the portal, that's going to be on full display this offseason. He's kind of alluded to it as well. They got to change some stuff around. The bullpen's got to get a whole lot better. The hitting can't be cold at the beginning parts of the season. And just this overall buy-in from everybody else. And my point of it is from a fan's perspective, how can you keep them engaged? That plays a part in that momentum, knowing that you're going to have a sold-out Lindsey Nelson any chance that you can get. I'm going to say sold out. The support publicly being there. I think you lose a little bit of that with Tony V, but he gets all that back if he proves that he can go out and win baseball games. And that's, to me, is the biggest challenge for him. And like I said again, how meticulous are you going to be about who you bring in through the portal? Because they're about to lose some guys. It's just natural that it happens.
I am fascinated to see how Josh Elander rebuilds this roster. And I can't guarantee you that this team is much better with Tony Vitello in charge. Simply because I think they were short on arms and guys who could get outs, regardless of who was on the first step of the dugout. Now, did they also miss Frank Anderson? Heck yeah, they did.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the other part of this that is not discussed enough. Tennessee didn't only lose its manager right before the season started, it lost one of the best and most experienced pitching coaches in all of college baseball right before the season started. So I certainly think there's a part to play in that. What I think probably is different is, Ramon, they start SEC play a bit better and win some of those closer games or series-deciding games early in the season. I can't still say that, though, with 100% honesty, because last season, remember what the whole story of the year was? They'd win a game, have a rubber match on a Sunday, and then lose.
Yep.
This team had a lot of the same issues in 2025 as it has in 2026. So I'm hesitant to say that Tony Vitello would have been that much better in charge of this team than Josh Elander was. So I think overall, their thin rotation was their undoing. And asking Cam Appenzeller to eat so many innings early in SEC play, as soon as he hit the freshman wall, you were kind of out of a guy that could eat 3-4 innings to win you a game on the weekend. And while your lineup started to hit better and you still scored a lot of runs, hit a lot of home runs, overall you had a lot of power hitting, this team did not hit well for average. And this team did not get on base the way that former Tennessee teams did. So when Josh Elander says there are adjustments we've got to make, I am interested to learn what kind of adjustments he has in mind.
So, and that's where, if you look at what fell off, to me, the hitting and the pitching both did this year. I ain't going to say fell off. It dropped down a level or two. Let's compare it to Vanderbilt, right? Vanderbilt's hitting went up this year. The pitching went down. This offseason for Josh Elander is he's got to find answers for both of his issues, in which in previous years it hadn't been as glaring, right, as far as hitting or pitching both being down. That's where he's got to find his guys that's got enough innings at other schools if he's in the portal, or your high school players coming in that won't go to the draft. How will they benefit from you going into this year with your pitching coach underneath you, an entire offseason underneath your belt too, and your specific guys that may be a tick or two different than what Tony Vitello would bring into this organization? Again, answering two problems in the offseason can be problematic as well. As far as Vanderbilt's side of this, right, like they know they have to find better pitching. The hitting answered the call this year. Finding both in the offseason, it's a bit of a challenge, man.
Tennessee's got to find both, too.
I know. That's the point I'm saying. Like, they have to find both. The Vols do. Yeah. And that, to me, is where his coaching is going to
I see what you mean.
Show. It has to show. What's the draw now is my question.
The recruiting has to show all of it. And you're not going to spend $100 million in a brand new stadium and then just set it and leave it.
Not when you're in everything school.
That would be wasting major resources that you've just given baseball. I'm not sure Tennessee will ever be the same under Josh Elander. That's a high bar to reach that Tony Vitello had. I also think that Tony Vitello would have had a lot of the same issues this season with this team as Josh Elander. And I saw a national writer from the AP tweet something at the final score of like, oh, Vol's not the same without Tony Vitello. I'm going to pump the brakes just a little bit on that because this was largely Tony Vitello's team.
It was.
This was not totally his staff. I'll give you that. I think they start the season better and have largely the same result. I'm not sure this is a super regional team when it was all said and done anyway. On paper, very talented. Best recruiting class in the country, good portal class. But of the portal class, you saw Henry Ford live up to expectations. You saw Evan Blanco probably live up to expectation. Outside of that, how many other transfers were really what you thought they would be this year? Didn't really pan out. Didn't really pan out. The sophomores took a little step. Levi Clark was a little bit better. Manny Marin. Again, we could go back and nitpick this too over the weekend. If Manny Marin could get down a squeeze play in the 13th inning against ECU, then we're talking about Tennessee beating ECU, and who knows what they do this weekend. I don't think they advance as good as North Carolina was, but Josh Elander said it then. It comes down to execution. Like, a coach can't lay down a bump for you when you've got a squeeze play on, and all you got to do is just bunt it between the white lines, and you score. You can coach that, but you also can't go out there and do it for you on a Friday. So interesting days ahead. I don't know what's in store for Tennessee baseball, but I'm not going to give a eulogy to the program yet because they've spent too much money to just give up and say, all right, we're not really good at this anymore.
I 100% agree with you on this. You know, one of the bigger issues in the Josh Elander era, though, too, is this was a player-picked head coaching hire, too. Because Kevin Schnall was in the conversation last year, Coastal Carolina's head coach, who had just made a College World Series appearance as well. They went with what the team, I think the fans even wanted when it came down to Josh Elander being the head coach. The question I would continually ask is, where was Danny White? What was his stance on, this is it for us? I know he backed the players publicly that vouched for Josh Elander, but that's, in my personal opinion, is going to hang over just a little bit. Is what about the other sitting coaches that wanted this job too? This will be a highly sought after job. Right. If Josh Elander doesn't show his worth on the field next year, that conversation I think gets higher because those guys that vouch for him may all be gone. And yeah, he'll bring in his recruits. But again, Danny White has always been in a position where he's went out and got who he thought was right for the job. And I personally don't know if that was the case this time in the hire or the elevation of Josh.
I think it's an interesting point. Like, if you gave Danny White truth serum, who would he have hired? Maybe it is still Josh Elander. Maybe it is Kevin Schnall.
I felt like it was a fight, though.
To your point, though, on Kevin Schnall, it did feel like a fight.
It felt like
some of the former players defended Josh. And that's what former players do. I'm not blaming
But is
them.
it always smart?
Right. I still think it was the right hire.
Okay.
I do. And to your point about Kevin Schnall, their season's over too.
It is, 100%.
They lost to FSU over the weekend in the Tallahassee Regional. Quickly got out.
At the point is where he was last year, as far as being in the College World Series?
CWS championship game.
It seemed to me like it was reported that he wanted the Tennessee job. He was going to leave Coastal Carolina.
I don't know that for sure. Because remember there was the report from Kendall Rogers the morning of the announcement of, I'm told there's a mutual decision not to proceed. The reporting around it was that Kevin Schnall also wanted to stay. But I think that Tennessee was always going to hire Josh Elander. I can't tell you for certain that he was going to leave Coastal Carolina. I don't know that. From what's been reported, it sounded like he wasn't going to leave from Coastal Carolina.
I felt like it was more interest until the crowd got louder. The way I remember it being Alabama weekend, I was just like, oh, this is real. And the player fight for Josh Elander got louder, which is, again, he's due that. They love him as a head coach. And he did fine this year, too. He set records this year. He wasn't a bad coach. It's sustainability for, I think, anybody that's a baseball fan of the Vols at this point.
Trey Wallace of Outkick joins us coming up next. What do we learn from SEC spring meetings? And what have we learned as well about Chaz Coleman? Maybe a little update on that from Trey Wallace, who joins us coming up next.
It's Ramon Foster from Medical House Calls. Good people of health. It's healthcare designed for your life, and they mean it. They're available to you 7 days a week from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. They have same-day appointments available to you, so if you call in or go to the website today, they may have an appointment for you this afternoon, or they have next-day guaranteed, man. They're just trying to bring back the concierge to medicine. For a flat fee, you can get an evaluation, full exam, treatment plans, and prescriptions if you need them. What they do is this. You tell them a time, they will come to you, and these aren't just regular texts. No, these are doctors and nurses that come to your house to help you get better. Anything from feeling fatigue, if you have a persistent illness, or if you actually need your in-home labs or a sickness or infection that will not go away, they will come to your house and simply take care of you. And here's the cool part about it. Wherever you are, they'll come to you. If you don't like sitting in urgent care or going to the hospital in general, this service is specifically for you. They will make you as comfortable if you need to be, come to wherever you are and simply service you how you need to. And again, they can give you prescriptions as well. The website is medicalhousecalls.com, or you can call or text them at 615-832-2375.
Monday morning edition of Ramon and Will continues in studio on the first day of the month of June. Glad you're with us. Whole crew here, Ramon Foster and Will Bowling. Justin Hawkins, our producer. Pleased to be joined by senior national college sports reporter for Fox and Outkick, Trey Wallace, who joins us via the power of Zoom this morning. Trey, good morning. How are you?
I'm good, man. Just getting prepared for a little Brendan Sorsby hearing that'll take place in about 37 minutes. So it's going to be an interesting day.
What kind of case do you think he has? Let's start there, because NCAA's made their feelings very clear about this both before on gambling and then after with all of his stuff. What kind of case and prayer does Brendan Sorsby have at this point?
Brother, I think they're at a point now. You saw on Friday, and if you didn't, the NCAA filed an affidavit essentially laying out their case ahead of today's hearing. And in that, they threw in all the stipulated facts, which means all the facts that Texas Tech and Brendan Sorsby agreed to. And in there, he gambled over $90,000 over a 4-year period. He placed 40 bets on Indiana football while he was on the roster. He even gambled on Cincinnati basketball while he was at Cincinnati. And by the way, I forgot to mention, at the same time he was at Indiana, he was betting on Indiana basketball. This goes deep. And the unfortunate part is, we all understand how addiction affects everyone. But when he got to Texas Tech, he didn't stop gambling. So he sent $5,000, according to these stipulated facts, which Texas Tech and Sorsby agreed to put in their argument. He sent $5,000 to a couple of buddies while he was at Texas Tech for them to place bets on the NFL, PGA Tour, NBA, MLB. So I don't know how he's going to I guess, prove that the NCAA is the big bad bully in all of this. I understand the circumstances, but at the same time, look, you committed the crime. Now you have to do the time. And in my opinion, their 2-game suspension that they tried to say, hey, NCAA, he'll sit out 2 games. He'll be a spokesperson for gambling and whatnot. And I'm thinking, man, y'all have missed the plot. If you'd have come back, look, if they'd have come back and said, hey, he'll sit out half the season, maybe I have a little bit of sympathy, but them trying to come out and say, hey, we'll sit out 2 games, just did nothing for me.
Trey Wallace of Fox and Outkick, our guest here this morning on Ramon and Will. So, Trey, looking at just the entire week that was SEC spring meetings in Destin, between the breaking away conversation from the Protecting College Sports Act side of this and the congressional side of it, what was your number one takeaway or thing that you feel like you learned last week from what Greg Sankey said was going to be overhyped, but I think we as media say it was probably appropriately hyped considering all the different things that came out of it?
Yeah, I think just ticky-tack. I think it was the ADs, presidents, and even coaches. And coaches' opinions on this matter don't really mean much, folks. You know, they could be out of a job within 4 months. You know, so, I mean, you're not – the ADs aren't going to the coaches being like, hey, what do you really think we should do for the next 10 years? But I do think it was how divided it was in Destin, whether that be because they thought – aka the coaches and the athletic directors, by the way, thought, okay, going to a 9-game conference schedule means we're going to have CFP expansion within the next year. That's going to be our reasoning. That's one instance. I think you also look at it in the timing of when Senators Ted Cruz and Maria Cantwell put out their legislation. Like, I'm a coincidence guy. Like, it is what it is, but they put it out 5 hours before Greg Sankey's press conference that evening in Destin. In my opinion, they knew what they were doing. They could have put it out on a Friday, but that's fine. It is what it is. Look, there's a problem right now in the SEC. They, in the Big Ten, are holding firm on media pooling, which, hey, I understand. It is not Greg Sankey or Tony Petitti's job to look after the well-being of the ACC and the Big 12 and other conferences. But at the same time, I say that to say this. If you want to have a full college football, landscape in 5 years, you got to do something to keep these other conferences and teams still going. So while I understand that it's the SEC and the Big Ten versus the world, it's also the SEC and the Big Ten. Maybe there's a way for them not to sacrifice money, because they would make money in a media pooling right situation, but is there any other concessions that they maybe could give in order to potentially get this thing down the road? I look at it overall. I think that it wasn't overhyped in a sense of all the news that's going on. Y'all remember this? 5 years ago, we were sitting down there talking about Nick Saban and Jimbo Fisher going at each other because of sliced bread and because of Jimbo Fisher spending this amount of money on his roster compared to others. And I wrote about it. 5 years later, we're essentially in the same spot. We got NIL running amok. We have situations that's going on within college football where some conferences and programs are trying to stay alive. And also at the end of the day, there's nobody guarding this thing. There are no rules. And to me, that's what stands out the most is, essentially 5 years to put up some kind of rule system around all of this, and you have it. And it's worse than the NFL when it comes to, salary cap, when it comes to quote unquote tampering, tampering no longer exists. It's picking up the phone. So I'm at the point right now where they have got to figure out a way to reel this thing in. And in my opinion, they're running out of time because everybody's just doing their own thing. Mike Elko said it. He came out and essentially said, we don't know what the rules are, so we're going to continue doing our thing until there is rules.
We're joined by Trey Wallace at Outkick and Fox this morning. Trey, if it is, getting close to a super conference and they do a CBA between the Big Ten and the SEC plus a couple others, what's the number of teams, Trey, that you could see being under this? And to be quite honest with you, what do you do with the other 90 that you're leaving out of this conversation if you want to go with the top 40 the way the NFL is basically with 32 teams?
Yeah, see, that's the problem is who are you going to add from outside SEC and Big Ten territory? Now, does that mean, I had this conversation with an athletic director last week, hypothetically, would that mean, okay, one conference is essentially going to go out and add Clemson, North Carolina State, Virginia, Wake Forest. I don't know. I'm just naming some teams. And the other conference goes after Miami, Pitt, you name it. You see where I'm going here.
Yeah.
So it obviously that could be the case. Now, this new legislation, this bipartisan bill, essentially says you can't form a super conference, a super league. But what you can do, I don't know how much they thought this part out. Greg Sankey and Tony Petitti can go out and add 5, 6, 7 teams if they want to their conference. And all it does is make their media rights even more lucrative. So that part to me stood out. Do we get 4 or 5 years down the road and we're doing conference realignment again? But to your point, Ramon, I'm a University of South Alabama Jaguar, okay? And I look at what's going on campus in Mobile, and I talked to somebody about this, a board of trustee member. And they came up to me recently when I was back home, and they said, man, I really wish that we could just break off and have our own playoff, do our own thing outside of, all the big teams, the SEC, Big Ten, a few from the Big 12, ACC. Because it would give us something that we know is tangible to play for at the end of the year. I think, personal opinion here, I think in 5 years, I'll just throw a timeline out, I think there's something where you see a team like South Alabama or MTSU, or, I could go down the list here of schools that maybe are fighting for something else at the end of the season. And can find that, because there's always going to be money and the people are going to watch college football. I love me some Tuesday night, Sunbelt action or MAC action. It is what it is. But I think we're getting to that point now, Ramon, where they have got to figure out a way to give these other conferences something else to play for at the end of the year. Besides just going home, in the first round or taking a beating like James Madison did against Oregon and whatnot. So that's kind of what I hope for. We're going to see if it actually happens.
Trey, we're joined by Trey Wallace this morning of Outkick. Trey, the other side of this, too, you speak about the coaches and the teams. One, what is the state of the SEC as far as how much of a WWE event has this turned into? And I know coaches have always talked, Spurrier and Former, but you have Sarkisian out here beefing with Texas Tech's coach, and Texas Tech coaches said, put up or shut up. You got Pete Golden and Lane Kiffin. I'm sure Alex Golish is going to be in this too. Just what is the state of SEC coaches? Because when you look at Kurt Signetti in the Big Ten, where they've won, and Ryan Day, they don't seem to be outlandish with how they speak about each other or just the game in general. And the SEC might need to get punched in the mouth, or has it already been punched in the mouth?
You know, the crazy thing about it is, Ramon, I'm trying to think off the top of my head who is the guy that could give the most trash talk out of the Big Ten. And the only thing that comes to my mind is Brett Bielema at Illinois. He's always on social having fun, which I love, by the way. But I look at the SEC, and you're right. This has been like a build-up to WrestleMania type of deal. And I don't know if they can see it through. You know what I mean? Like, you still got to put the card together. You still got to put the pay-per-view on. And I think a lot of times, too, with this is it's getting a little bit out of bounds. Like, in the case of Ole Miss and Lane Kiffin, Lane's always going to try to take his pot shots and have fun on social media. And I thought Pete Golding did extremely well last week for when meeting with us for the first time since everything kind of went off the rails a little bit. And he handled it. And he said, sometimes it's personal lane, sometimes it's professional lane, and sometimes I got to put, his bleep in place. I found, because that's Pete, you know what I mean? Like, I think folks are going to come to appreciate Pete Golding behind a microphone because he's just going to call it like it is. But you're right. It's gotten a little out of control. And the problem is if everything you're building off of is off the field and social media and quotes that you can give to a touchdown club, man, you better be able to back it up during the season. Like, there has to be something this upcoming year. Like in Texas' case, Sark is feeling himself right now with this football team, so he wants to run his mouth. Okay, cool, fine. But you better not lose week 2 to Ohio State in a bad way. Or we're looking down the road here for a couple of these games and these matchups. Like, you got to be able to back it up. Like, there's nothing anybody can say it's going to build up that Ole Miss LSU game any more than it already is. Like, look, National Guard will be in Oxford covering that. There will be more security in Oxford than there is for a World Cup game. Like, it's going to be insane. But at the same time, I think that Lane's got to watch himself, because Pete Golding right now is in a fight with the NCAA over this tampering. And I'm just telling you guys, Ole Miss has a lot of receipts from things that happened when either Lane was going off to LSU, where college football maybe thought that, okay, Ole Miss is going to fall apart now, so let's try to go in and raid the roster and whatnot. They got receipts. And I don't say that in like a threatening way towards them. It's as if, and that's why I was told, like, if the NCAA comes down hard on Ole Miss for what happened with Clemson and Luke Farrelly and tampering, Ole Miss is going to be like, okay, here you go. Here's all the stuff. Here's all the tampering that went on with our roster while we were in a transition. So you guys do with that what you will. And so they're essentially saying, you come after us, I promise you're going to have 10 other schools you're going to have to go after. So, and one of them, LSU. Yeah. And again, it all comes down to, can you prove it or not? But to get back to your overall point, I think we're in a day and age right now where we're seeing a lot more talk from the SEC, whereas in the Big Ten, they just going out there and winning titles, and it ain't just on the football field. Right. It's women's basketball. I mean, I can name men's basketball, football. So this is a little bit of a reckoning period for the SEC.
It's interesting too, Trey, because of the reputation that Ole Miss women's basketball has in that regard as well, with getting transfers. And I've heard it. I'm sure you have as well. Of like non-revenue sports and other coaches can't turn in the other coaches in other sports because they know that school has something on their football coach. Like the exchanging of all of this. There's a lot of blackmailing going on in that
it's
world.
Just it's not just football. Right. Like if you went after, like you said it, if you went after one school, okay, fine. Let me see what I got in this sport. Like, if the NCAA really wants to get busy, we'll make them busy.
Exactly.
That part is going to be fascinating over the next couple of months, where we find out, what type of punishment Pete Golding will get. And in my opinion, guys, I think if the harshest penalty would be maybe a 1-game suspension.
Right.
I think that would be it. But we'll find out. We'll see what they have.
Trey, on the way out, I'm just curious on the Protect College Sports Act and what makes this different. I know Ted Cruz, someone that has spoken, you've talked with him, and Maria Cantwell. The bipartisan nature of this makes it interesting. A lot of the things that they want, coaches want, as they're coming to the podium last week. But you also have the little matter of midterms and a recess in August and a pretty short time frame to get this thing over the line before very different people in positions of leadership might come back in January and say, no, we're going to totally scrap this and start over again. What makes this different and gives maybe the senators involved any level of confidence that this is realistic to pass at this point?
Yeah, I mean, I think, look, there are some things in this that I think coaches, administrators, universities can get behind. I think transfer portal thing is one of them. One transfer. If you take a second transfer, you got to sit out a year. I mean, it's still going to end up in court. That's a fine. Your 5-5 eligibility, I can get behind that part. The one thing that stood out to me, and I'm like, there's no way this passes, is you can't tell a school when they can hire or fire a coach. I'm sorry, you can't. You think CAA, Jimmy Sexton, these others are going to let that stay in the bill? So in my opinion, that'll be gone before they take a final vote, because you just can't. You can't tell Virginia Tech, who maybe fire their coach 4 or 5 games into the season, hey, you can't do anything in regards to hiring a new coach until after the national championship game. Okay, well, by the way, that's 10 days after the transfer portal opens. Wow. So how does that make sense? So again, you're getting the hiring, firing practices of the school. So look, there are numerous things. There's going to be changes, by the way, to this. You're going to hear Nick Saban speak on Wednesday in Washington, D.C. At this hearing that they will have, the Senate Commerce hearing. And I think you're going to hear a few things that you've already heard before. And then you're probably going to hear maybe 3, 4, 5 things that, okay, maybe kind of new to this. But at the end of the day, they're going to try. I don't know how they do this before August. In my personal opinion, I don't think they can do this before August. And if they don't, that's where your problem lies. And like you kind of said here, is when they go on recess and they're going to worry about midterms and stumping around their local towns and whatnot. And the biggest thing of it all, and I'll leave it at this, is I don't think you're going to garner many votes because you're standing up for college athletics. Your local farmer does not care what the school is doing and how college athletes are being affected. So that's the problem right now, is you can't stump on any of this. So we'll see where it goes.
Well, Trey, we went through all this, and it's the state of college sports right now. We didn't even have time to get to players that are currently playing and teams that are practicing, and a guy named Chaz Coleman in Knoxville is making some headlines. We'll need to do this again soon. I hate that we're in an era of college sports where we're spending so much time on big picture than the upcoming stuff. But great insight as always, great stuff, and great to catch up with you, man.
Most definitely.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me. I know we'll do this again. Next time we'll talk on the field stuff. It is talking season, so we got to get to talking.
We do. Listen, you got plenty of content on non-football issues, and I'm appreciative of it. You hear me? I'd have never thought we'd get to this point, Trey.
Yeah, sometimes I just want to close the computer, so we'll see how that goes next week.
Trey, I got a survey for you. If you could find as many former players as you can, and ask them what would have been the number to have satisfied you before NIL opened up. Like my number in my mind in 2004, they could have given me probably an extra $1,500 to $2,000 a month. That would have did it. I'd love to know what others think.
Compared to where we are right now, that number, schools would love that number right now.
We told them back then, Trey. We said this.
Yes. No, absolutely. And back then, I know we're going out here, but back then, it's you're finding now it's okay, we can drop this bag off at the front doorstep and not have to go through the back door. That's essentially where we're at right now in college athletics. So That's a good idea, Ramon. I'll follow up you in a week.
I'll do it with you if you want me to.
I love it.
We can
you
join
go.
in on this.
We got that.
Trey
Guys, y'all
Wallace.
have a great week.
You too.
Thank you
Trey.
so much. You too.
Good luck with the Sorsby thing.
Thank you.
Trey Wallace with us here this morning. Really good stuff. Get him on Twitter at Trey Wallace for the latest. Let's react to that when we come back. Take a little bit of a look at the NBA Finals, perhaps, as we continue with more headlines after this.
It's Ramon Foster for Hiller Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, and Electrical. Good people. I'm stumbling like I'm betting. Never mind. But here's what I'm here to tell you, man. Nobody likes dealing with any of those issues, whether it's plumbing, HVAC, or electrical at all. Most of the time, you don't know what it will cost you, which is problematic if it'll get fixed right, if you don't pick the right company, or if somebody's trying to sell you something you do not need. I know this. When you reach out to Hiller, the experts are going to solve your problems quickly, and the price you're told is the price that you'll actually pay. That's the comfort in it. There are no hidden fees or surprises on your bill at all. Whatever you need done, they will do that exactly as you need them to, as best as they possibly can. They've been in business for over 35 years and are family-owned and operated. They're techs, the folks that come to your house. Very professional, experienced, and trustworthy. And when they're on their way, you'll receive a photo of the tech and a link to track them in real time, so you're not sitting around wasting your time. They believe in 100% satisfaction every single time. Their motto is, and they live by it, happy you'll be, or the service is free. Listen, to learn more, book with Hiller the way I do, head over to happyhiller.com.
Credit card interest rates are now over 29%, and most people are only making the minimum payments, so they're getting nowhere. What's up? It's Will Boulding. Here's what many homeowners don't realize. Using the equity in your home, you can easily access hundreds of thousands in cash. With Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan, you can pay off your credit cards, your existing HELOC, your car loans, or get money for that home improvement project. One client just got $100,000 approved and saved over $1,500 a month. And here's the best part. With Loan Pronto, you can do it all from your phone. With zero out-of-pocket, no hard credit pull up front, no appraisal, no long, drawn-out bank process, and no touching your first mortgage, rates are at near 3-year lows, so act now. Go to loanpronto.com, see how much you can get in about 60 seconds. That's Loan Pronto with 2,800 5-star Google reviews. Call 615-499-5780 or visit loanpronto.com, 615-499-5780 or online at loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, NMLS consumeraccess.org.
This is a different court, Blair.
Same result, Slay.
Oh, okay, Blair. See, that's Tyler Tanner. See, Tyler Tanner's in the house now.
Let's see what you got. Jury's out, Blair.
Blair, come on. Okay, Blair, just come sit down. Come on, Blair, stop. You're going to get hurt. Blair, get off the court. That's enough.
What's the verdict, Blair?
The courtroom is where I play ball.
Boy, Durham, injury law, and that ain't got no roof.
The guaranteed offer is the simplest, least stressful way to sell your home. You go to our website, you fill out a quick form, we set an appointment, we bring you an all-cash offer. Literally, there's no lockbox on the front of your house, there's no showings, we pay all cash, we close in as little as 21 days, stress-free. We've helped thousands of homeowners just like you sell your home the hassle-free way with the guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate.
Wrapping up hour 3 on this Monday morning. Appreciate Trey Wallace stopping by. Josh Corey of the Tennessee Titans coming up at 9:20. Talk about some of the stuff they are doing in the community over the coming weeks and months. Your phone calls at 615-737-1045. Great point with Trey Wallace, and good question by you on just the overall state of panic among SEC coaches right now who are kind of taking out their anger on college sports on each other.
It just SEC coaches should speak for themselves on the field.
Right.
Like if you were trying to be something, it happened in the fall on the football field every Saturday. And now the WWE side of it is damn near embarrassing the way I look at it. It is. And Trey was right about that. I get it. It's cool to be the cool guy on social media for the recruits. And, hey, did you see I burned them right there? Hey, we won on social media today. Like, no, at this point, SEC got to get its doggone house in order.
I agree. And the tampering side of it's interesting. And we've both heard a lot of stories on the different interactions that coaches have on other coaches. But the second you turn them in, A, who's even enforcing the penalties? Because the NCAA, you could just take to court if they try to tell you to do something. And B, who's going to turn you in for stuff you've done? It's this constant state of guns drawn, everyone pointing them at each other, and nobody ever firing.
Spider-Man meme.
Right. Like until somebody really gets popped or penalized, or there are actual penalties for tampering. It's just going to keep happening.
So the part of it, too, is like if Pete Golden, Ole Miss's head coach, if he does get just the biggest penalties ever from the NCAA.
For the Clemson stuff.
Yeah, for the Clemson. The fact that he's saying, I wish y'all would come to me.
Yeah,
and say that.
He could go to LSU.
He can go to LSU. Anybody else, for that matter, has come in and tried to take players after Lane has left. And that's a flagrant place to be. As a conference, I think just at the state of where college football is as well. And again, Dabo, who's publicly said, I'm trying to build my team through high school, for him to hop in the portal and finally go get a guy. And the fact that Ole Miss negotiated pretty much, I think the reporting was they pretty much laid out $1 million in front of him and said, come over here to Ole Miss, and he ended up leaving after being there for a month or two.
Mm-hmm.
Just a nasty way to coach and operate right now.
I have heard conversations on people around other sports saying our athletes were tampered with. We can't do anything because of football.
Yeah. Because of football.
It's not just football being affected in it. Yeah. It's crazy.
I mean, I'll put the one out there. You mentioned Ole Miss basketball. I messed with Coach Yo at Ole Miss. But the reports that came out about how she and her crew allegedly were recruiting specific players during and right after and before the Tennessee Lady Vols game, and then said players also still commit to Ole Miss women's basketball, recruiting before or directly after a game should be off limits.
Yep. It's an interesting rumor. No doubt. Titanomics is in the borough. Wants to talk about Jeffrey Simmons. What's up, Titanomics?
What up, Titanomics?
Good morning, gentlemen. I never even got a chance to tell you guys congratulations to both of y'all.
Appreciate you,
Thank
brother.
Start off by saying that. Question about Jeffrey Simmons. How hard would it be for him to come in, since he's been training in Texas? How hard is it for him to come in and just get adjusted to the new players? That's my first question. Then second question is, do you think something needs to be changed about that long summer break? Isn't it like 2 weeks or something like that? Like after like mini camp and all that, then they get a long break, and then they come back in July. What do you think about that?
It's about 5 weeks, 6 weeks.
I love that time of the year. Do you hear me? Real quick, that's the last time you feel like a human being. That's the last time guys going to be able to take trips, really spend time with family. And just the reality of it, too, is Titanomic, after the 4th of July, the summer's over. So it might be about 2 weeks of just the other 3 of just training. I think the Titans are one of the teams that can go to school. I mean, I say go to school. Go to training camp sooner because of the new head coach clause and stuff like that. But it's about 5 weeks in totality. But usually, even talking to some of the coaches this past week, summer's over after the 4th.
Right.
And the first part of that, Jeffrey Simmons ain't got to get acclimated to nobody. When Jeff walk in that building as the starter he is, guys
no concern at all.
Guys will revolve around him.
Yeah, no, he's good.
Yeah, he'll probably take, acclimation period of getting used to the reps. I don't think they want Jeffrey coming off his training and go 100% doing football reps, though, as far as the volume that he's going to play.
Sure.
You remember last year this time he knocked somebody on their butt in OTAs.
It's true. He does do that.
He does do that.
615-737-1045 is our number. Defensive line coach Aaron Whitecotton spoke to the media on Friday, as did all the position coaches. He talked about why he has been motivated by a former Titans assistant. You'll hear from him coming up next.
It's Ramon and Will here for Window Nation. Well, I think we might have to use this website personally for ourselves for the studio right now, man.
I think so.
Because the air conditioner is not doing what it's supposed to do right now. And if you have windows like ours that are, maybe worn out a little bit at home or broken seals or might not let up, then it might be time to call Window Nation so we get the easy slide up and down, man. That way some cool air can come in. And with summer just now starting, it's only going to get hotter. Well, right now they need to act before energy bills skyrocket.
Yes, you do. Window Nation, the best place to go to fix it. Broken seals and old frames, let your cool air escape. It taxes that AC system, but the pros over at Window Nation can help you get new energy-efficient windows at a great price. Use Window Nation's Buy 4 Windows, Get 4 free sale going on now. You can replace all the windows in your home and get half of them free. Buy 4 windows, get 4 free by heading online to windownation.com. And hurry, this sale ends soon. Buy 4 windows, get 4 free online at windownation.com.
9:01, good morning, live from the Circus Sports at the Mid-Kentucky Downs studio. I'm Justin Hawkins. Tennessee Lady Vol softball took down Texas Tech 2-1 on Saturday after an Emma Clark walk-off home run in the ninth inning to move on to the Women's College World Series Championship semifinals. The Lady Vols will have a rematch with Texas at 11 a.m. this morning on ESPN, and then a second game, if necessary, coming up at 1:30 due to double elimination. On the men's side, Tennessee baseball was eliminated from postseason contention after losing to ECU 7-3 on Friday, then following it up with the 5-4 loss to VCU on Saturday. The NBA Finals, they're set. The San Antonio Spurs upset the Oklahoma City Thunder in OKC Saturday night to win Game 7, 111-103, dethroning the defending champions. The Spurs, who win the finals for the first time since 2014, will now host the New York Knicks for Game 1 of the NBA Finals, which gets started on Wednesday night. And the Stanley Cup Finals, they're also set after the Carolina Hurricanes dominated the Montreal Canadiens in Game 5 Friday night, 6-1 to win the Eastern Conference Finals, 4-1. The Stanley Cup Final will begin with Game 1 getting started Tuesday night in Raleigh, North Carolina. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Away we go into the fourth and final hour of the show. Monday morning edition of Ramon and Will inside the final 60 minutes already. A little bit of a summer storm headed our way.
No, it's here.
Okay.
Yeah, no.
This blind is closed. Maybe I should open it and look outside.
You don't want to see what's going on outside.
It's pouring.
No, I do.
You don't want to see what's
I love
going
a summer. It started lightning last night and I was cheering. So
You get an opportunity to kind of see it from downtown a little bit, the
Yeah.
lightning strikes and stuff.
Yes.
I always like those time lapse. I told, and I was bragging, hopefully I'm not going to jinx or something. It's so refreshing being able to just have summer storms without all the tornado and dumb stuff that comes with it too. It's been refreshing to just say, you know what? We needed this. And not have to be on alert, man. So shout out to Mother Nature, man, for doing her thing as of late. I say it, and I'm probably going to jinx the heck out of us moving forward.
I need to give Mother Nature all the shout-outs because on June 12th and 13th, we need no rain. We need good weather.
We trying to get right out here.
I'm trying to get married. I'm trying to get married in our Plan A spot and not our Plan B spot. It will be lovely regardless.
No doubt about it.
But my screen time and my fiance's screen time are both going to be up over the next 2 weeks trying to check the weather. And the good news is, too, that she works at News 2 and has access to a number of very intelligent and informed meteorologists. And I work here and have Rhett Bryant.
Yeah,
who is a meteorology fan himself. So,
and you know what?
We'll see.
If I see Leland walking around the K. Roger again, the Kroger, I'll ask him for you too. Hey,
I love that.
My friend Will, man, is getting married soon. Is he going to be in the clear?
VFL Leland Stadium. We love Leland.
We do love Leland, man. It rained on my wedding day.
Did it?
It did.
It's good luck, isn't it?
It's supposed to be. At least they'll tell you that to make you feel better. It turned out awesome, though. We got married over at T-Pack in front of the columns and everything. We were inside the building, but outside the pictures still went off really good. It cleared up just enough for us to have a ball out there. And we had a blast here in July. Hot, though. Hot. Have a towel is all I would tell you.
Okay.
A face towel.
Okay. All I have right now as far as replacement stuff is I got a pair of shoes. That way, for the entire reception, I don't have to wear the rental shoes.
Okay.
Because rental shoes and me don't go very well together. Or with anyone.
Yeah, if you don't have black dress shoes in general, are you even a man these days?
Well, I do now, so I guess I am now. No, I'm a big brown dress shoe guy. I've always been a navy or gray suit kind of person.
Yeah.
I prefer navy and brown or gray and brown with lighter colors than all black. Okay. I've not had a black suit since I was in early high school.
I told you earlier, I have to get one. A few events, I just show up with a sports jacket.
I'm glad to give you an excuse to go shopping.
You do.
You're welcome.
But it's necessary. What are the suit colors you're supposed to have? Black, blue, and charcoal?
Oh, you can have whatever color you want. I almost got a tan one the other day. That's the new trend right now.
I would have loved that for you.
A light tan. I might still do it.
I wore, I'm in Unk world so bad right now, and my dressing and just my mannerisms and stuff. I threw on a linen short suit yesterday, man. Super chill.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I got it from Built, the company I like to shop with often, man. Shout out. I need a sponsorship with them as much as I'm getting from them. But they have like this light summertime outfit, man.
I know the one you're talking about.
Oh, I was in Unclification world yesterday, man.
Yeah, Goodwill is about to get a lot of will over the next couple of days because we've changed a lot of the wardrobe to go to honeymoon.
Okay.
I didn't have the right kind of clothes, so this again gave me also an excuse to shop way too much. So
see what I'm saying?
We're done now, though. It's wedding month. We're locked in. We're doing cardio.
We are.
Trying to slim down for the beach.
I'm getting together my workout right now with my oldest. Working out with him just gives me a sense of just regret from just like, getting older. Because he'll go in the weight room with me and he's just throwing weight around and I see his veins popping out in his arms. I say to myself, I used to be like that too. I used to have that energy. We doing box jumps? No, you're doing box jumps.
Chat, am I cooked?
Yeah, we're cooked, okay?
Right, but then you just pull up the 75-pound dumbbells like it's nothing, like you did a couple weeks or months ago.
Upper body I'm cool with.
Unk is chopped.
Unk is chopped.
Until you can't do that anymore, talk to me.
No, like, I'm going to knock that out. We got squats again today. We got deadlifts today, okay? Me and the oldest. And myself and the oldest. You did?
The other day. No, I still do.
Yeah, I like them too.
I do deadlifts all the time.
I don't like back squats.
That's my favorite.
You sick.
If we're ranking the big
squats?
lifts, I like front squats too.
Hate them.
If we're ranking the big lifts, it's any kind of squat is my favorite. Deadlift would be my second favorite. Bench press would be third, even though I can't bench very much, to no one's surprise. Pull-ups would be my least favorite. I hate pull-ups.
Yeah.
As far as like big
push-ups.
lifts.
I do it with a band around my knee, though, too, to help assist me bring myself up. Like, I can knock out 5. I got 5 for you.
I think my max is 8 right now, 8 or 9.
Okay. That's not bad.
When I was at UT, I could, have I told this story?
No.
When I first got to Tennessee for our like strength testing?
No.
We'll hear from Aaron Whitecott in a second. Don't worry. I will promise you I'll get to it before we get Josh Corey in here. So here's the thing.
I'll embarrass myself more after you're done.
No, you won't.
Yes, I will.
You were a professional athlete for 11 years. I was just dabbled in this. So you start at Tennessee, and obviously I was if you don't know, distance runner. And I get there, and you do all this testing. And it's like weight stuff. And honestly, there's not much that we did. I actually can't remember anything else we tested at because everyone's trying to figure out your max.
Yeah.
And so once you get in the weight room, you know what everybody's like max is. And there's a strength coach with a clipboard standing there and like, all right, let's go do pull-ups. And I'm going to tell myself, if my high school cross-country coach listening right now, every time we would do our own, we had a sheet. We had to scratch off for weight room stuff. I always skipped pull-ups in high school. Coach, if you're listening, I'm sorry. I almost every time, because you had to have someone hold your feet, because I couldn't do 3 sets of 10, obviously, without it, nor can the average person.
Yeah.
And so we didn't do the bands. You had to have someone hold your feet, and I didn't want to ask anyone to hold my feet. And once you got down in the weight room, practice was over. It'd be like, I just want to go. So, Coach, I'm sorry, telling myself I skipped pull-ups a lot. Sometimes I did them.
Yeah.
Other times I would skip them. So I get there, and I'm like, crap. I can't do a pull-up. I have not done this in years. Ooh. And even if I had done it in the weight room, we weren't doing pull-ups to add volume. We were doing it for just like core strength.
That's what I was wondering.
Like maintaining stuff. Yeah, like it's core strength as much as it is anything else. So we get up there, and my teammate, who shout out to him, he's won a couple marathons now. He's ran the last U.S. Olympic trials. His name's Wes.
Okay.
In the marathon,
shout out Wes.
I think got 20.
Dang.
I'm sitting there just watching, and the GA with the clipboard. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's not even slowing down. I'm like, oh no, what have I done? So I get up there. This girls and guys teams together because our teams were combined. So I get up there, reach up. All right, here we go. Whew. Right. I was like, maybe I've got a lot of energy. I'm motivated.
Yeah.
I'm a Tennessee athlete. I got the gear on. Here's how it sounded. 1. All right, 1. You got 1. You got 1.
Yeah.
And then just.
That was it? That was it.
That was it.
That was it.
I did one pull-up.
I could do 3 unassisted.
By the time I left,
Let's go.
I could do 10.
Okay.
And I told the strength coach when I left the team my sophomore year to be a normal student, I said, Coach, I am the only athlete in your life that you will ever have who can say when they left you, they can do 10 times more pull-ups than from the day they got there. And I can do 10 times more than I could when I got there. So
pull-ups are trash.
There's my story. It's terrible.
Chin-ups are easier.
Chin-ups?
Yeah, because they use your
What's
biceps.
the difference?
Chin-ups
Underhand
are underhanded.
or overhand grip.
Okay.
Or you have neutral grip is what we use.
Yeah. Oh, those are actually even easier.
The one lift I hated was front squats. It used to pain my back so much, and then as much as I was doing at the time, I absolutely hated that. And dips. Dips used to make my chest feel like it was gonna cave in. Like the way in which, or the machine they had for us to do dips wasn't wide enough for my arms, whatever, at the time. And I absolutely hated dips. And then I'd see one of my former teammates with 100 pounds of weight hooked on the waistline doing dips too. Just insane amount of just pressure.
Yeah.
My worst one was 7th grade when I first started lifting. There was this girl that was in the 8th grade that lifted more than me on bench, and I was so embarrassed. I almost quit. I was just like, this is the worst thing that have ever happened to me. Yeah. But I passed about in 9th grade, so we're good.
There you go. 1 year later.
Goals. 1 year later.
Goals.
Yeah.
It was goals.
Aaron Whitecotton was asked about how you coach guys with so much energy. He is not just holding the clipboard. He, I think, might be throwing it at players. Not really.
I believe that.
He is intense. The D-line room and group is the loudest at practice. And the reason why is because his mentor is former Titans D-line coach Jim Washburn.
I probably shouldn't say this, but like my mentor Jim Washburn used to always say, coach him like a raccoon that's on something. That's kind of how I look at it. You know what I mean? It's just really like a deranged raccoon out there. You go out there and get after it, and really push the limits of what we can do in practice, and then we're going to be all right in the games. That's just the way we were all brought up. I'm not even going to put myself in the same category as that man. I hold him in the utmost respect, and he's meant a lot to me. Along with Chris Surik, he and Coach Wash have meant the world to me. So I'm gonna leave him in his own category, and I'm just gonna try to come out here and do the best I can for the Titans.
What are some other things maybe you learned from Jim as you were coming up?
Style of play, just the way that that Coach Sala's and our team's mantra of fast and violent. I mean, that really embodies what Coach Wash taught me, and so it's really it's a draw to be here with Coach and to be here with this group, to have a mentality and to have a mantra that really speaks to the way that we're going to play as a defensive line, and so that carries on to the team. It's not like we're our own silo; it's the whole team. It was really exciting for me.
D-line coach Aaron Whitecotton, expect a downhill, aggressive, fast defensive line with a lot of different players rotating in and out.
It is. Just chaos, controlled chaos. Like I usually say offense is, controlled chaos, where you just knock over a couple of cabinets and, a couple of vases on your way. These will be bulls in china shops. I think it'll be proper for us to give some contrast to it at some point in time about what this group is, how it can benefit you as a team, how it can also have its cons to it as well. But if you got this rotation and the body types and the mentality that you think you should, and hearing Coach Whitecotton talk about this too, sounds like he's adding pressure on himself to not let the coaches who've poured into him down too. Watching him coach, if you ask anybody that was out there this past Friday, you hear his intensity. He's like Coach Orgeron without the craziness behind him. It's nonstop instruction, pressing, and just the need to be violent. It is, to me, the way you think of young defensive linemen imagining themselves making plays each and every day. Like, that's what this is to me. You'd be a fool to be lazy in this defense, is what I'm telling you.
Coming up, Josh Corey of the Tennessee Titans will join us. Titans are hosting some youth football camps. They've got 2 of them this week. He'll give you some details on that, where you can go if you're young football players interested. Some of the stuff going on with the Titans in the community that we will talk about with Josh Corey coming up after this. Ramon Will rolls on here on 104.5 The Zone alongside Titans radio analyst Ramon Foster. I'm Will Bowling. Pleased to be joined by Tennessee Titans VP of Cause Marketing, Josh Corey, this morning. Titans very active in the community. Some camps coming up, flag football that has been crushing it. Josh, you guys got a lot going on. How are you?
Yeah, we're doing great. Thanks for having us on this morning. You're right. It never stops. And, summer, we're just cranking it up. These youth football camps that we're doing all summer is kind of always the unofficial start to summer for us.
I love it. Well, those camps got started last week. Liberty Creek and BGA. You guys have one at Austin P on Wednesday and Oakland High School on Friday. What can kids, what can parents, what can anyone expect from a Tennessee Titans youth football camp this summer?
Yeah, so we're trying to get kids introduced to the game of football, and these camps are for kids who have played, and maybe kids that are just starting to get into it. The ages run from 7 to 14. We work on all types of football related skills and have drills to try to work on those things. But we also work on the other things like, being a great teammate and leadership. And we have a part of our camp that's focused on character development, where usually one of our former players comes out and talks to the kids about, having great character. And so also trying to develop the other side of that, not just a great football player, but being a great person as well.
Josh Corey, Titans VP of Cause Marketing, our guest. So Austin P Wednesday, Oakland on Friday, and you mentioned it, for all skill levels, correct? What kind of coaching types are you going to get at an event like this?
Yeah, so we'll get boys and girls. Camps are open, to both boys and girls. We'll get kids who are just getting introduced into flag. We'll have kids that have played tackle for a couple years. We'll have kids that are kind of on their journey into high school as well. But skill level and experience doesn't matter. We'll have everybody out. We'll have some college coaches, obviously, at Austin P. So you'll get coached up by college staff. We have former players at each camp as well, former Titans. So you'll get to learn from the pros. And we have a really great lineup of some really successful high school coaches in there as well.
We're joined by Josh Corey, Titans Vice President of Calls Marketing this morning. Talking flag, man, Josh, as somebody that's coached flag football, I must say it is by far one of the coolest tools that young athletes can get, man, to get acclimated to. And I will say this, too. The way you guys and the sport have grown this so much in Tennessee is even better, man, seeing the girls' flag grow as much as it has. How fascinating has it been to see those numbers just go up as quick as they have been as of lately?
Ramon, it's been so exciting to see flag football take off the way it has, both, with boys, co-ed, and girls as well. Ramon, when we were coming up, we had one option. You could play tackle football, yep. And that was it. So this is a whole nother touch point to get kids involved in the game of football. Obviously, being Tennessee's NFL franchise, we want to continue to grow and develop the game. And flag football is basically the best entry point where a lot of parents now are comfortable getting their kids involved in the sport of football. And so it's been really great to see this game grow, especially at the high school level here in Tennessee. We were the 10th state in the country to sanction the sport. And now there's about 23, and the list keeps growing, it seems like, each month. But very excited to see that. Also, it's going to be an Olympic sport in LA in 28. And then the NCAA has kind of cleared the way to sanction it at the collegiate level for divisions 1, 2, and 3 there. So you'll probably see a championship sport at the NCAA level by 2028. That means like schools like Tennessee and Vanderbilt and Kentucky and Alabama, they'll have teams and all compete for a national championship as well.
And Josh, that's what's most fascinating about it. I look at this as just another opportunity where young athletes and families, if we can be honest, can get college paid for. Flag football, to me, I felt like was a safer option for the people that did not want the physicality. But you now add in the idea that they can go to college for this, can get free education behind it through their hard work. I expect these numbers to actually go higher than what they are right now. I was a huge advocate of any parent that asked me, hey, what should my kid do? I would say soccer. And I would also say now put them in flag football so you get an understanding, because having coached it, Josh, the amount of kids running in different ways and the awareness it has to tick up is something I think families would be okay with adding their kids into this event, man. And I think it's also a shorter season with a lot of flexibility too.
Yeah, no, those are all great points. Were you a really good flag football coach, Ramon?
I was overthinking it. I'm out here trying to incorporate NFL plays and schemes into it, and some of the coaches have said, nope, we'll just give it to the fastest kid.
There you go. You can never go wrong with that.
Never go wrong.
No, you're right. You know, it's been great opportunities to get kids involved, and you mentioned the kids that are earning scholarships, the girls that are earning scholarships at the collegiate level. It's something that we hoped would happen when we started that 9-team pilot program with Williamson County Schools in 2021. We've got more than 160 high schools playing in Tennessee right now, and just started a league here in Metro Nashville Public Schools with their 31 middle schools this past spring, and we've got about 5,000 girls playing in the state of Tennessee now for their schools in middle and high school. And it's just been great to see. You know, the TSSAA sanctioned it, like we said, had their first state championship games actually just a couple weeks ago down in Murfreesboro. And it was an honor to hand that first state championship trophy off to Ravenwood and Creekwood in the smaller division. And it's all about opportunities. We've been fortunate enough to hear about a lot of high school girls from our area who have gotten college scholarships. One of them spoke at the Super Bowl press conference, Madison Dismukes from Hillsborough High School, who Jim Nance called sensational when she spoke. She was really, really good, but talked about the impact that it's had on her. She has 12 scholarship offers and is only a junior for the Burros.
Wow.
I will say this too, a coaching moment in flag football. So this had to be when my youngest was about 7 or 8 years old, maybe 9. It's a few years back, Josh, as far as how good we were. We made it to the league championship for our age division. Hard lesson was learned in this game, okay, Josh? So, again, we're teaching the game, teaching kids how to play it, the rules of it, the clock, time, field positioning, all of these things. Well, we had a team down by like the 10-yard line, and they were going in. And in that moment right there, they handed the ball off. The kid continued to run, and we were up at about 5 points at that point in time. Well, our boys heard the clocks go off and stop, Josh. The play was still going on. They learned a very valuable lesson that day. Play through the horns, and they were so crushed. We went to a pizza place after that just to make them feel better. But, yeah, we were good, but lessons were learned. I know what? That group of boys right there, they tackle until the doggone ball is dead. Do you hear me?
Yeah, no, that reminds me of Bobby Bowden at Florida State. Coach Bobby Bowden said, got to play to the echo of the whistle.
Oh.
And, yeah, valuable lesson learned, but, that's what it's about. It's about learning, lessons that, you can't, frankly, learn in a classroom or anywhere else. It's all about, teamwork and sportsmanship and being a great person and having high character and, being able to take those lessons and take them into your daily life when you become an adult, so. That's a great story, though, and I'm guarantee you it didn't happen to any of them a second time. That's for sure.
No, it did not.
TennesseeTitans.com/youth football camps, where you can go. Registration still open for all of the camps. Josh Corey, our guest this morning, VP of Cause Marketing for the Tennessee Titans. Josh, love all of this. We are in full support of it. I know win, serve, entertain, the motto over there. You guys crush it and getting people involved in this game in so many different ways. Appreciate the time this morning. Thanks so much.
Appreciate it, Josh.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate y'all. Have a great week.
Yes, sir. You too. Josh Corey with us here this morning talking about some upcoming camps for the Titans.
Bro, we were crushed. I'm yelling at him. He still got the ball. I remember the kid running into the end zone right now, and my boys were throwing their flags up in the air. They're celebrating, and they got a hard lesson right after that. I told them, good for y'all. You needed this.
Yeah, right.
They needed it.
It's good stuff. And I know you've told the story before about the Titans caravan coming to your hometown growing up. And for so many kids and for so many members of the community, it becomes real.
It does.
When you see somebody in person or you are coached at a camp by a coach in person. And we talk about so much how football is not as interpersonal as so many other sports because you see athletes with their helmets on and with pads on. And if you don't know football in a diehard sense, you might see that person walking on the street. You would have no idea who they are.
No.
But once you can put a face and a personality and an interpersonal relationship with it, it becomes real. And that's how you grow professional football in a town that traditionally, generations ago, was a college sports town. It still is a college sports town, but it is now also a Titans and NFL and professional sports town. And I love the way the Titans understand the way you grow this fandom and the way that you, and that's not why they're doing it. They're doing it to serve the community first and foremost because they've been given much, and to whom much is given, much is expected. And they get that. But it is also a way you endear yourself to your fan base and to your season ticket holders and to your young fans who one day will become old enough to buy tickets.
And the NFL playing a part in this as well with the notoriety that they're giving it. I will say this. I don't think former players should be in this sport, though, unless they...
You mean like playing it?
Yeah, because that's a part of the growth now, too. Having Tom Brady have a team and Odell Beckham, those guys being part of it, too. The naming part of it, yeah, most definitely makes sense. But when I view this as almost the way guys and young athletes wet their whistle for the ones that won't make it to the NFL. Like the exposure that Tom Brady and his group is given to it, awesome. But I know some dudes who live and die by the competition of flag football or the arena league stuff that they do from time. It's almost like pickup basketball. This is football's version of pickup basketball.
Sure. I like it. I like it a lot. All right. Today is a big day in the NFL, Ramon. You know why?
No. Oh, post June 1st cutting.
Yep.
And transactions.
Post June 1st designations to prorate a cap hit over 2 seasons versus 1. And specifically, today might be A.J. Brown Day in the NFL. That is the shoe we are waiting to drop. So A.J. Brown has been waiting to be traded. And Adam Schefter is tweeting about this morning, or talking about it, I should say. Today, also 100 days until the first NFL game of the regular season.
On the clock.
So we also have that. But apparently, A.J. Brown trade to the Patriots should happen within the next 24 hours. Apparently, Schefter said that on ESPN this morning.
We're still going to go through.
Looking that way.
Well, can we trust him? Has he also been on the boat in Tennessee? Or we trusting him just based off of his word? How's he getting this information? Huh?
The old-fashioned way.
Between Brendan Sorsby...
I don't think he's doing it the old-fashioned way either. I think the old-fashioned way is dead.
Yeah,
I think it's, hey, here's a list of 5 people that the big super agents are going to give info.
Yeah.
And that's no disrespect to him. I don't know Adam personally, but...
We just going to play the bit, though, with how he getting this information.
The word insider does not mean what it used to.
No, it doesn't.
For some better and some worse reason. I don't mean it like that. We're talking about Adam Schefter. We're not even talking about Diana.
I'm sorry.
That was the worst unintentional joke.
You didn't even try to make that joke, right?
I was being serious.
Insider?
Josina Anderson says this morning that some within the Patriots remain hesitant to give up a first-round pick for A.J. Brown. The report is that it may be a 2028 first-round pick for A.J. Brown.
A first has to be given up on that one, man. Howie won't lose this one. He can't lose this one as far as the trade goes. New England's also in a spot in which Drake May needs more weapons. They're in that Super Bowl window. I think the fastest close that I've seen in NFL as far as Super Bowl windows is the 2017 Jacksonville Jaguars and the 2021 Cincinnati Bengals. Everything that they needed was right in front of them. To be aggressive in this era of rookie contract with the quarterback, head coach just got a lot of steam when it comes down to what he's able to do with that team, and the fact that Robert Kraft is going to pour in as much as he possibly can. He needs to be like the L.A. Rams GM. Screw those picks and go get your guy. If you really believe Drake May is him when it comes down to them chasing that Super Bowl again. What you smirking about over there, huh?
A.J. Brown at SI.com says the curtain is lowering on the A.J. Brown era in Philly. He says something could change, but at this point, with months having turned to weeks, to days, and now hours, it would be a pretty big upset if A.J. Brown were not reunited with his head coach from Tennessee, Mike Vrabel. Says with the much-discussed June 1st having arrived, the Eagles and Patriots have the framework for a deal that would send Brown to Foxborough ahead of his 8th NFL season. It's not done, however. Final details still need to be hammered out. But the sides have had a couple months to work through all this and bridge the initial gap between where the Eagles were, seeking a Quentin Williams / Devontae Adams type of return, and where Suter stood back then. It is a reasonable compromise, given that on paper, the player Philly would get with a 2028 first rounder won't be on the roster for another 2 full seasons.
This is what the Cleveland Browns are trying to propose with the future draft picks, though, too, right? Is pushing that out even further.
Yeah, just even further than this.
Even further.
Because this is just
that.
2 drafts ahead now that we're the next pick that could be traded is 2027.
What I want to know is how the Patriots are going to be able to manage AJ. The wear and tear we speak about Jeffrey Simmons and the rotation that you can have during the season, though, too. A.J. Brown, of course, in the postseason is what you're looking for. What he does during the season is awesome. If you can make it deeper into the postseason, then it's worth it. With the Eagles, this is a real quick breakdown on him. He's played in 8 postseason games, 28 catches, 334 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Barely more than he did here in Nashville with the Titans, too.
Super Bowl champ, though.
Yes. As of late, what has that role been for him as far as the Eagles go? He's
wide
been more
receiver
problematic.
1B.
Yeah. He's been more problematic.
He's caused more problems than solutions over the last, 3 months of the season to now?
Yeah, and last year, it was only 3 catches for 25 yards. The health of A.J. does have to be a part of this conversation. What's wild is he's ascended to superstar level, most definitely. But his effectiveness as far as his team goes, to not be a distraction, make the plays he's supposed to, and also, again, stay healthy. Both of these camps know A.J.'s health. Like, I'm not going to just lay on the fact that, hey, he's 100% right now, because that was a huge topic of conversation here. And it's proven to be the same thing in Philly if you watch them play.
Albert Breer brings up, too, that in New England, he is to Josh McDaniels' Patriots offense what Devontae Adams was to Josh McDaniels' Raiders offense. He's the Devontae Adams for McDaniels.
Yeah, he is.
That Josh McDaniels had in Vegas. In Vegas, Devontae Adams was targeted 180 times and had 100 catches for 1,516 yards and 14 touchdowns. So he is 4 years in to being an Eagle, 9th in franchise history in yards. A.J. Brown.
Yeah, and with this trade, I'm guessing
later.
Has to be a new deal. Absolutely.
I would say he's somewhat restructured. I mean, I'm curious if those are some of the details that have yet to be ironed out. Who takes what money?
Yeah.
Because he is set to make $23.3 million against the cap. And by trading him, they're going to have a lot of money to sit on Philadelphia.
Yeah, they will, most definitely. Good move for a team that's in this window right now. If Vrabel can shush the crowd as far as his off-the-field issues, then that team is, again, in the pack. Although I will say, the jig is up, though. They know what you are as a team, and Ken Drake may answer that pressure again. It's going to be the biggest issue for him, and his left tackle, too.
Well, we'll see when the news breaks from any given insider. 615-737-1045 is our number. Spurs and Knicks for the NBA Finals. We'll recap Game 7 next.
It's Ramon Foster for United Structural Systems. Good people, when you start noticing cracks in the wall, uneven floors, a driveway sinking and separating, it's more than a home issue. It's a peace of mind issue. And I'm here to tell you that United Structural Systems can do that for you. They can reroute water away from the basement, crawl space, your home with their interior drain systems, and it can pump out with battery backups and all. When the ground swells from oversaturation with all this water, it creates additional pressure on your foundation, and this is where United Structural Systems step in. It's important to get that water away right now, but they can also help with the inspection of your foundation for any additional damage that the water can have on it too. And the thing about water pressure against your house is those leaks happen slowly and over time, so your foundation can really be messed up. But this is why I also trust United Structural System. They've been doing it the right way since 1994, right here in Tennessee. And USS, they don't believe in quick fixes or scare tactics. They take the time to inspect, explain what is happening, and walk you through real proven solutions that are built to last. They have, of course, their carbon fiber straps, okay, that will seal in the water. And that is right. It's Kevlar, just like the bulletproof vests that we see on and around our community or on television, wherever you see them at. They will make sure that it is taken care of. No leakage, no further issues whatsoever. And also this part of it too. USS is introducing 24 months, no interest financing options, good through the end of June. You can learn more and schedule your inspection by heading over to USSTN.com. That's USSTN.com.
All right, get you out of here on a Monday morning. Austin Price with the latest on Chaz Coleman tomorrow that you'll want to tune in for. Hear from Titans linebacker Cedric Gray, his comments before or after a Titans practice that we were there for last week. We'll do that tomorrow. The NBA Finals are set. Knicks and Spurs. You know what happened the last time the Knicks and Spurs played for the NBA?
Was it a sweep?
No, the Titans played for the Super Bowl.
Oh, hey now.
1999.
Line them up, man. History repeats itself, does it not?
99, a great song by Toto as well.
What was that? Toto?
Yeah, it's a great song. Not in Kansas anymore, man.
I'm lost.
Spurs go to Oklahoma City, win Game 7. And Mike Tirico put it best. It is Wemby's West.
Yes, it is.
Until further notice.
I don't know what Luka's gonna do with the Lakers. Don't matter. I don't know what Joker's gonna do with Denver Nuggets. Don't matter.
He was at the Champions League final over the weekend.
Was he? Okay, enjoying himself. I'm
Arsenal
sure.
fan.
Okay,
just like most of the world.
Shout out. But he can give the West up, is what I'm saying. This young group of talent that they have, from Stephon Castle to Dylan Harper, to just the way they've built up with their Coach Miller as of lately, is to me how you hit a hard reset and get back right. And not just that. Yes, I know Wemby is a alien, as we like to call him. Is an alien, the way we like to call him. But he works at it. He's intentional about it. The other cool part for me is he don't care about any of the history that these guys are and respect whenever he's competing. He, to me, is the ultimate competitor with this group and where the NBA is right now. He loves the violence of it. Yeah, they get a little violent and physical from time to time. But his skill set to where this 7'5" individual can hit a crossover step back three-pointer. Who's guarding that? I heard Kenny Smith speak about it on Ryan Clark's The Pivot podcast. He said, the unique thing about Wemby, what he's doing to the NBA, is two things. One, when we play scout teams, right, when we scout each other during the week, who's got somebody that can mimic Wemby? Nobody.
Yeah.
Brooms.
Yeah, I was going to say, get a broom.
get a broom.
And hold it above your head.
And then Kenny went on to say this too. He said the issue is not necessarily the height. You know what the height is and how you get into that point. The issue is the mental warfare that he's also doing to you. Anytime you think about going towards the rim, you don't. Anytime you think about shooting a shot, it has to go higher. Anytime you think about passing it into the post, he's there. So what do you do against this guy? I'm not saying he's the greatest to ever walk the earth when it comes down to what he is currently, but he might get close, is what I'm saying. You've seen him. It's a treat to watch him play basketball.
It is. It absolutely is. So they will start the NBA Finals on Wednesday, right?
Yep,
Wednesday
night
the
ABC.
3rd. Yep, absolutely. And
35 for SGA, but not enough in Game 7. 111-103 Saturday.
Yeah, no, it wasn't enough at all. They went in with the intent to beat them down. Also, there's a guy, too. There's a professionalism that you have to have in these moments. Chet Holmgren didn't meet the moment, not even a little bit. He got absolutely dogged. I think he only had under 5 points for the game at home in a Game 7 series. Everybody's talked about him. SGA, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander spoke about him as well. You can't have one of your premier players in the league who's also almost tit for tat as far as height goes with him, not show up.
Well, good for SGA, though, calling it out as the season being a failure. Unlike Jaylen Brown, who tried to sugarcoat things after he was knocked out and sent to Cancun. He took ownership.
Yeah, he did.
SGA did. So you can get mad at him for the flopping and the flailing and falling down, but at the end of the day, he's right.
Yeah, he is.
Wasn't good enough for the defending champs. Back at it tomorrow morning, hopefully with air conditioning in the 104.5 The Zone studios.
Tough.
Buck Rising Show, cover 2 with Blaine and Zach. 3HL have you covered the rest of the day. We will talk to you bright and early, 6 a.m. tomorrow morning.
Well, remember at all times, your Twitter fingers and your mic is always hot.